Chapter 293. The woman turned her back to the fire and sat down on the sofa. Warm light radiated from behind her, outlining the outline of her body, while her face was hidden in the darkness, no longer as terrifying as before. She gestured for Sue-Cher to sit on another chair. Sue-Cher sat down and looked at her. For some reason, Sue-Cher suddenly felt a sense of relaxation and warmth. "Do you want to see your future?" the woman asked. "I don't." Sue-Cher shook her head. "Why not? Isn't it a good thing to be able to peek into your future?" "I'm here to escape from my fate, so I don't want to know what it was originally like." The woman paused a bit, then asked, "Then, are you not satisfied with your life?" "Which aspect are you referring to?" "You're a young lady. Of course I'm referring to your life as an aristocrat. Balls, horseback riding, afternoon tea, beautiful dresses. I'm a fourth-stage elementalist. Other than dresses, all of these things are like shadows in a movie. Unreal and boring," Sue-Cher replied. "Professionist, which means you came here to obtain power?" "That's right. I want to become stronger," Sue-Cher replied. The woman suddenly couldn't help but laugh out loud. A true heir. "I haven't seen one for a few hundred years." She seemed very happy. Every successor is hesitant between power and influence. Smart people will choose authority, because as long as they have it, no matter what it is, they only need to say the word, and someone will take care of it. Very few people choose to inherit power. This path is too difficult, too dangerous. You can lose your life at any moment, and if you die, you'll die for nothing. Not even I can protect you. Your choice is full of courage. From now on, you can ask me anything you want about power," the woman told him. "This is an unprecedented privilege. Make sure to grasp it well," she added. Sue-Cher asked, "I saw the ship's control room. Does that mean our 9 lords came from another planet?" "That's right. Why?" "There are a lot of space monsters here, and it's a remote corner. It can be considered a paradise." "Xanadu, could it be that we are fleeing here?" "Smart girl," Sue-Cher asked again, "but with so many disasters happening in the world, what are we going to do in the future?" "Disaster? What do you mean?" "Sea creature, man killer fiend, game of eternal, murder clown. You call this a disaster? It's nothing more than a clamor of loud thunder and little raindrops." The woman shook her head and let out a chuckle. "Please cherish your current life. There are few peaceful days like ours in the world." "Are you saying that there will be more disasters?" "Child, this is not what you really want to ask about power," the woman interrupted. Sue-Cher fell silent. The woman looked at her as if she could see the bottom of her heart. "I can sense her apprehension, but I must say, please cherish this opportunity. Every palace head only has the chance to change their fate on this day. After this day, no matter how much you regret it, you won't be able to receive my help anymore." Sue-Cher gritted her teeth and said, "Then I'll ask, if I'm wrong, please don't mind, tell me, how can I obtain the power of a 5th stage elementalist?" "Why do you need the power of 5th stage?" "To become a master of my own fate. Everyone who comes here asks how to become the master of the world. Only you want to become the master of yourself. Can you please tell me?" "I'm not sure. Come here. I need to take a closer look at you." Sue-Cher stood up and walked in front of the woman. The woman reached out her hand that was covered in a thin layer of human skin and lightly lifted Sue-Cher's hand. "Unique elementalist. Wind, elemental 4th stage. It's already the limit. I can't break through anymore," the woman muttered. "No." Sue-Cher's face paled in an instant, shaking her head in despair. Her best wish was shattered. In truth, she already had a vague feeling about her talent. There weren't many people in the world who could reach the 5th stage of the elementalist realm. The woman consoled her instead. "Fate isn't eternal. We always have a way to change it. Please tell me the way. I need to take a closer look at your situation. Kneel down and lift your head." Sue-Cher knelt down as she was told, so that the woman could take a closer look at her. The woman turned around and used an iron rod to light up the fire in the fireplace. The light became warm and bright. The woman was still sitting with her back to the light illuminating her silhouette into a deeper darkness. She reached out her bone-white hands to hold Sue-Cher's face, carefully observing it. While Sue-Cher faced the light, her eyes full of desire glowed. After a while, the woman spoke. "Guaid Song's power doesn't like you. Heaven's chosen is cut off by your body. unable to reach your soul. Elemental, wind elemental power is about to reach its limit, unable to hold anymore. What a firm fate. Young lady, don't you want to think of other ways, like using authority or wealth to change your life? The woman sighed and continued, You're a rare successor. I really want to help you. I can tell you the Fushi Emperor's weakness. I can tell you the president's little secret. I can even get the guy who founded the religion to do something for you. I can also help you attack the other lord to expand the Su family's influence, seeing how likable you are. I can even ask Impartial Goddess to increase your authority to a very high level, making it easier for you to do anything you want. Impartial Goddess, that's right. That's ours. Sushare thought for a bit, but still shook her head. No, these are all external items. They won't be able to fulfill my wish. I only want to obtain power that I can control, the woman continued. That's very difficult. You'll need to pay a very heavy price. Even your life. I'm willing to pay the price, Sushare said. The woman stared at her for a while, then waved her hand. A short wooden table appeared next to the two of them. According to the rules of the inheritance ceremony, the woman said, Every successor has the authority to let me use a fate-type god's chosen skill once. But their desires are too shallow. I don't even need to spend any effort to complete their inheritance. But you, young lady, you're very clear-headed. You know what's most important, so you're going to help me? Sushare asked. I'll repeat myself. Once you choose this path, there's a real chance of dying, the woman said. I'd rather die on the way to fulfill my wish, Sushare said. This kind of courage, or perhaps recklessness, really makes me have a whole new level of respect for you. The woman knocked on the table and said, Looks like I have to be serious. Please put your personal belongings on the table. As she spoke, a black card silently appeared and floated in the air above her head. How many? Sushare asked. All of them, the woman answered. They won't be damaged, right? Sushare hesitantly asked. Of course not, since Sushare left in a hurry. She didn't have time to bring anything with her. Chapter 294. Very quickly, there were quite a few items on the table. A handkerchief, a personal hollow brain, a doll, a mirror, a makeup kit, tissues, lipstick, hand cream, sunscreen, a small comb, a thermos flask, a small bag of snacks, a handwritten diary. Accessories also count, the woman said. Sushare gritted her teeth and put the pendant on her neck on the table. It was a very normal black string with a ring on it. The blazing angel controller. The woman looked at it and silently smiled. She muttered, There seems to be something else, without a choice. Sushare could only put the hidden jade bottle and scripture book on the table. Her hands were on the edge of the table, nervously staring at the black card, almost as if she's ready to take them back as soon as she notices something wrong. Ah, it's all here. The woman looked at the items on the table and rubbed her hands. You don't need to be afraid. This card of mine is the real fate card, responsible for connecting all the miracles in the world. There is only one of it in this universe. She spoke full of nostalgia. In order for me to manifest this card, my man died. He was the strongest at the time. Sushare couldn't help but ask, A card? I mean, what you just said was a fate-type God's chosen skill. How could it be a card? A God's chosen skill is split into 5 stages. The first stage is awakening. The second stage is instantiation. The third stage is complete awakening. The fourth stage is change. And the fifth stage is evolution. This is common knowledge. Sushare has never heard of anyone turning a God's chosen skill into a card. You wouldn't think that a powerful God's chosen would only know a single skill in their entire life, would you? The woman asked. If a God's chosen skill can manifest into a card, then you've broken through the 5th stage and entered a new realm, a new realm? Sushare was shocked. The woman continued, That's right, a new realm will awaken many different kinds of skills. These skills will be divided into different series according to your attributes, in the form of cards, scrolls, or anything else. She raised her hand and held the black card in her hand. Each card is a God's chosen skill, she said. Sushare saw a spinning roulette on the card, with a black snake circling around the roulette and slithering around it. The woman placed the card in front of Sushare, and her tone became serious. To activate true fate, I need your inherited power, she said. Sushare reached out and touched the card. The mysterious and complicated rune in her body flowed along her arm and lightly imprinted on the card. The rune became much dimmer and slowly shrank back into Sushare's body. The black card began to shake violently, as if it wanted to do something. Seeing this, the woman nodded slightly and whispered, "Reversal of fate." As soon as she finished speaking, the black snake on the card turned its head and looked straight at Sushare. Sushare felt as if she was being seen through. Even the deepest desires of her soul were clearly seen through. After a while, the black snake slowly moved along the edge of the card and landed on a short wooden table. The black snake circled around the many items on the table. After looking through everything, it opened its mouth to grab the small booklet and swam back to the card. Sushare was panicking. This was something Gu Qingshan gave her. As she was about to move, the woman stopped her. "Don't panic. It's only taking a look." The woman's low voice carried a sense of calmness and comfort, making Sushare barely able to hold back her anxiety. Sure enough, the small booklet was placed on the wheel by the black snake, circled a few times, then fell back onto the table. A new black card was stuck on the booklet, showing a third of its length. "Go and draw that card. It is fate's gift to you," the woman said, sounding a bit tired. Sushare picked up the booklet and lightly drew the black card. A half-closed door was drawn on the card, with a blinding light coming from inside. Apart from this door, there was nothing else in the card. The woman took a deep breath and spoke in surprise. "You were able to draw this card from fate. I've never heard of such a thing before. It's only been heard of in legends. The result wasn't bad?" Sushare tried asking. The woman praised. "Not only was it not bad, this was an extraordinary result. It seems the snake of fate really liked that item of yours. What does this card do?" Sushare asked. "It will give you a brand new life." "What will it be?" "Completely different from what you've experienced in this life, and there's a high chance that you'll die. But if you manage to endure it, everything will be different. Such a fate. Do you really want to try it?" Sushare gritted her teeth. "I have to try it," the woman continued. "Before you use it, do you have any urgent matters that you need to deal with?" Sushare thought for a bit, then answered, "There's nothing particularly important to do." "Very well. You can use it now. Remember, you must protect your own life. If you die in this brand new fate, you will truly die. I understand. How do I use this card?" "Infuse your wind elemental power into the card." Sushare did, as she was told. A second later, a screen of light enveloped her. She disappeared from this world. The woman watched the scene in silence. She sighed and muttered, "I didn't think I'd be able to see something like this with my own eyes. If she can escape the shadow of death and somehow survive." The woman's tone suddenly carried a bit of anxiety and hope. The vast ocean. Sushare was standing on top of a floating tree. She looked into the distance. Other than the boundless sea, there was only the vast sky. There was no land. The only thing she could see was a sea covered in mist towards the south. Other than that, she couldn't see anything else. "Where am I?" Sushare was shocked. "I was still in the wooden hut at the top of the North Pole, talking to the protector of the Nine Lords. But then I arrived here. The light pierced through the dark clouds and sprinkled a golden color from the sky, causing the sea to shimmer." Sushare looked up at the sky. The clouds were blown away by the wind, revealing two dim suns. Watching this, Sushare was stunned for a long time. "This isn't my original world," she muttered. Ting! There was a crisp sound. A few lines of text appeared in Sushare's vision. "You've discovered the secret of space-time. Welcome, the second closed beta tester. Announcing the closed beta quest. Quest: live or die. Quest requirement: survive for 12 hours. Quest description: before the game has accumulated enough power, the second player has arrived. For the next 12 hours, the system will not be able to provide support for the player. The player must find a way to survive by themselves. Quest reward: obtain a personal identity in this world. Reminder 1. According to the system's prediction, in 5 minutes, the floating tree under the player's feet will attract an unknown, terrifying existence. Please leave quickly." Chapter 295. After reading these lines of text, Sushare quickly calmed down. Having seen the game of Eternal, man, killer fiends, sea creatures, and a murder clown, her tolerance is much higher than before the apocalypse. Now that I've transmigrated, it's not like I can't accept another closed beta game. On the other hand, why did the first beta tester want to kill me? Sushare shook her head and stopped thinking about it. The most important thing right now is to leave this place. She stared at the driftwood under her feet and silently sighed. This driftwood is the only thing that can keep her afloat, but it can only last for 5 minutes. Only 5 minutes. What should I do now? Sushare bit her lip, then her eyes lit up. A hand reached out from the water in front of her. Following that, a person slowly floated up. "Excuse me, dash." Her words were stuck in her throat. It was a corpse that had been chewed on. She didn't know how it floated up from the depths of the sea. The corpse's expression was very relaxed, very peaceful, as if it was enjoying something. The corpse floated away with the current. Following that, another corpse floated up. This corpse's eyes were wide open in fear. Its mouth was wide open, as if it was screaming in fear. Sushare was a bit stunned, then gathered her courage and looked towards the ocean. Corpses. Corpses everywhere. They were hidden under the surface of the water. If you don't look carefully, you won't be able to see them. The water was divided into 2 layers. The surface was blue, but if you look carefully, you'll see that the bottom was a deep red. The deep red blood was frozen under the water, while the countless corpses slowly floated along with it. Occasionally, 1 or 2 corpses would deviate and float to the surface, but they would quickly be washed back to their original path by the current. With a bad feeling in her heart, Sushare bit her lip and quickly made her decision. She was about to head towards the sea of fog, because there was nothing else but water in the other direction. Only the sea of fog could hold a chance of survival. Sushare put her hand on the water behind the driftwood, controlling the wind to push forward. She was using all her strength. The driftwood was also moving forward. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, almost 5 minutes. Sushare was in despair. Even though the driftwood was advancing very quickly, it was still too far away from the fog. She couldn't stay on the driftwood any longer. As a last resort, Sushare prepared to dive into the water. She didn't completely believe in the so-called mission, but when the power of the wind entered the sea, she could clearly feel an unknown turbulence approaching from afar. He didn't know what would come. However, in Sushare's senses, it was an enormous existence, an unknown world, an unknown existence. Perhaps even he was not its opponent. Even if he could defeat it, this was the ocean, and the smell of blood would attract stronger predators. There were so many strange corpses in the sea. A great danger was brewing within. Even if he jumped into the sea, who knew what would be waiting for him? Sushare walked to the front of the driftwood and sighed helplessly. There was no other way. The only thing he could do now was to hurry up and swim as far as he could with the swimming techniques he learned in high school. She tried not to look at the corpses, gritted her teeth, and prepared to jump into the sea. Suddenly, a voice sounded beside him. Connection with the blazing angel has been disconnected. Attempting to contact impartial goddess, call failed. This voice is... Sushare reached her hand into her neck and pulled out a black string. She looked at the ring on the string in surprise. Ever since she received this blazing angel controller, she had never heard it make such a sound. Beginning locator, location failed. Attempting to connect to Guqing Shan using a unique method. Connection failed. Beginning spatial anomaly detection. 2 suns detected. Judging by the obvious difference. Determined to be separated from the original world. Activation conditions met. Activate. The ring went silent for a second. Guqing Shan's voice suddenly came from the ring. He was speaking very quickly. Shui, I don't know what this world will become. So, I set up this program inside the ring. Long story short, the fact that you can hear my voice means that you're in a very dangerous situation. I had Impartial Goddess create an environment assessment AI. It will quickly assess your situation and use the ring to come up with the most effective solution. This is a ring made from a completely new nano-grade deformation material. As long as there's wind, sunlight, or any other source of energy, it will automatically replenish itself. Now, use the ring to quickly escape. You must survive. You must. As soon as Guqing Shan finished speaking, a large shadow appeared in the water below the driftwood. The ring in Sue Cher's hand was letting out a milky white glow. The ring continued to expand rapidly, like a giant loaf of bread that had just been baked. A few moments later, the ring opened its warm embrace and attached itself to Sue Cher's body. It slowly formed a pair of gliding wings. Aerodynamic optimization complete. Wind Spirit Infusion gliding wings have taken shape. The electronic AI voice came. Sue Cher, use your wind elemental power to get us out of here. Sue Cher glanced at the expanding shadow underwater and gritted her teeth. Let's go. A green spiritual light erupted from her body. Ho, ho, ho. The wind kept pouring in as the wings slowly rose up. Not sure if they'll be able to leave in time, because the water started to boil, turning from a deep blue to a putrid dark red. The terrifying monster was trying its best to float upwards, getting closer and closer to the driftwood. The girl flapped her wings with all her might. Suddenly, a terrifying maw rose up from the water. Riding on the wings, the girl finally escaped from the driftwood and began to ascend. The putrid maw didn't let up, following closely behind the girl, trying to bite her down. The wings tightly wrapped around Sue Cher's body, pushing her wind elemental power to its limit. On her gliding wings, countless scales that were almost weightless opened and closed along with the breath of the wind, trying their best to increase her flying speed. Aya, fly! The girl screamed with all her might. The green wings of wind finally turned into a streak of light that flew at high speed, leaving the monster behind as it soared into the sky. She escaped. Sue Cher rode the wind, following the gentle flow of air, quickly flying through the sky. Where her flight stabilized, the wings on Sue Cher's body began to make noises again. Current temperature, 19 degrees Celsius. Wind force, north wind. Air pressure, 1021 HPA. Humidity, 88%. Visibility, 10 km. Through biological wave scan, no abnormal creatures have been found in the vicinity. Normal flight is now possible. Got it. Thank you, Sue Cher said. This precision nano product was created by Guqing Shan, an impartial goddess. I hope you enjoy using it. The AI inside the wings replied. Sue Cher was a bit surprised, but then her lips curled up. Below her was a thick layer of clouds, while she was flying above the boundless blue sky, chasing after the warm and bright sun. Two streams of warmth flowed down her cheeks. The girl was sobbing, but her eyes were shining brightly. Oh, Qing Shan, I will definitely survive. I will definitely return to see you. Chapter 296. The Game of Eternal. The arena. The bloody and frenzied slaughter had reached its final moments. The two professions clashed against each other, then separated again. Both of them were heavily wounded, but neither of them showed any signs of weakness. Both of them knew very well that even showing the slightest hint of weakness would give the other party a huge boost of morale. Not to mention, only one person can survive the entire match, so begging for mercy won't help. One of the professionists saw through his opponent's weakness and swung his double-edged battle axe, sending half of his opponent's body flying. He didn't even have time to scream before he died on the spot. Blood spread all over the ground, mixing with the blood of the other corpses. Blood silently seeped into the ground. Huff, huff, the winner sat on the ground and threw the battle axe to the side. His chest was like a bellows that was constantly being pumped as he panted heavily. I'm a champion. Give me the prize. As soon as his mad laughter came out, it stopped. A sharp rock dagger pierced through the back of his neck and came out from the front. Arg! The professionist grabbed the dagger with both hands, wanting to say something, but his throat was blocked by the dagger, unable to say a single word. The dagger slashed forward, cutting off half of his neck along with the main artery. The professionist opened his eyes wide and fell to the ground. Now that there was nothing blocking his throat, he used all of his strength to point at the figure and spoke in disbelief. He wanted to say something like that, but with his throat already cut, the only sound he could make was a pitiful moan. He was about to die, but his strong body as a professionist, coupled with the unwillingness in his heart, kept him alive. He remembered this person. This girl's heart was clearly broken by me. She's already dead. I've been stuck at Martial Eminence Peak for a few dozen years, fighting against countless professionists, as well as killing countless experts. I can't be wrong about this. But why is she alive again? Resurrecting the dead? He stared at her as she stared back at him. The female professionist instinctively clutched her chest. Yes, it hurts a lot, but the other party's attack missed, so after fainting for a short while, she regained consciousness. Fortunately, in such a cruel battle, he managed to keep his life. The female professionist pressed her hand on the flat floor and picked up a rock hammer. She was a profession that had awakened the earth element. The championship is mine. She raised the heavy hammer and smashed it into the man's chest. The other party's chest was instantly pierced through, flesh and blood splattering everywhere. The professionist died on the spot. Until his death, his eyes were still wide open, staring at the female professionist. There was no longer any anger or unwillingness in his eyes. Instead, there was deep confusion and fear. An old voice sounded. This round's challenge is over. I have to say, it was very exciting. It was an unexpected counterattack. The old voice praised. Our champion has been born. For the sake of our champion's dignity, let us heal all of her wounds. A black coffin rose from the ground of the arena. Please enter the coffin. Your wounds will quickly recover, the old voice said. The female professionist staggered into the coffin. The wounds on her body were ghastly. If someone said that she would die in the next second, there would be a lot of bystanders who would believe it. The coffin closed and slowly turned. Between life and death, only the strong can obtain the glory of life, the old voice chanted. The coffin turned once more, then opened again. As the female professionist walked out, all of her wounds had been healed. King, Lusherman, you are a profession that has awakened the elements. At the very end of this round's challenge, you managed to kill the strongest opponent, receiving this round's reward from the game of Eternal. A treasure chest descended from the sky. Space. The S.W. Divine Temple. Gu Shan closed her eyes and suddenly spoke. Impartial goddess, investigate a woman called Lusherman, around 20 years old, long black hair, a mole between her eyebrows, about 167 centimeters tall, fair skin, earth element awakened. Liao Xing drew the woman's portrait in front of the hollow brain and added, this is what she looks like. Her 3 measurements are about 88, 63, 90. How do you know her 3 measurements? Yi Fei Li was surprised. Liao Xing looked at Yi Fei Li with disdain and was about to say something, but noticed that Anna was crossing her arms, coldly looking at him. He shut his mouth. Relevant information received. Searching, impartial goddess answered. In the arena, the old voice spoke. Please click on the treasure chest to receive your reward. Lusherman. The professionist called Lusherman reached her hand out and touched the chest. The chest let out a blinding light. As the light faded, a small transparent bottle appeared in front of everyone. In the small bottle, there was a translucent green liquid. The old voice spoke at the same time. Congratulations, Lusherman. You've obtained the evolution potion. Even in other worlds, this is an extremely precious potion, capable of helping you break through to the next stage of your elements. Lusherman was shocked, hesitantly asking, really? This isn't a scam? The old voice answered, of course not. You can check it yourself. The glass bottle flew up and landed in Lusherman's hand. At this moment, countless elemental professionals in the world couldn't help but swallow their saliva. Awakening elementals is too hard. Breaking through to the next stage is an extremely long process that can cause people to fall into despair and doubt that they'll never be able to break through again. If this advancement potion was real, then a level 4-5 elemental profession would be able to break through to level 5-5 elemental profession after drinking it. 5th stage of elementals is the same as being invincible. Without hesitation, Lusherman opened the bottle and drank all the green liquid in one gulp. At this moment, countless elementalists in every corner of the world sighed in regret. From the previous matches, it can be seen that Lusherman was only a 3rd stage Earth elementalist. It's a bit of a waste for her to drink such a potion. But no one can blame her. After all, this is a treasure she risked her life to get. A thought popped up in the minds of the spectators. Damn it, why is it her? None of the contestants in this match are stronger than me. Why does she get such a treasure? Many professionists silently watched this scene. Silently, a thought sprouted in their minds. Lu Sherman was trembling, kneeling on the ground, moaning in pain. After a while, she slowly stood up. Fourth stage, it feels so good, Lu Sherman shrugged and muttered. She casually waved her hand. 7 to 8 deep cracks instantly appeared on the arena. She raised both her hands. Dirt from the cracks flew up like a waterfall. The loose dirt turned into a river that flowed in the air, then rolled up and compressed into 3 to 5 fist-sized stone balls. Lu Sherman let go. The stone ball fell from the sky and smashed into the arena, producing a deafening roar. A few large holes were left on the arena, as if a meteor had fallen. Lu Sherman crooked her finger. 3 fist-sized stone balls flew out from the holes. The stone balls slowly hovered in front of Lu Sherman, hovering above her hand. One of the stone balls didn't move, while the other 2 were like satellites, circling and flying around it. At this moment, countless professionists in the world who were watching this were speechless. The ability that Lu Sherman just displayed was a powerful ability that only a 4th-stage Earth elemental can wield. Star summoning. These stone balls look harmless, but as soon as they attack, they'll explode with terrifying power like meteors falling from the sky. Unimaginable. She really did become a 4th-stage professionist. More and more people were excited. Right at this moment, the old voice came. Not only that, our heroine will receive the 2nd treasure chest. Another treasure chest appeared. Lu Sherman tapped the chest with her hand. A jet-black pill appeared in front of her. An eternal pill. It's the eternal pill that she's been dreaming about day and night. Without hesitation, Lu Sherman grabbed the black pill and swallowed it. A few moments later, her skin slowly turned white and soft. Her body also became more slender. She looked like an 18-year-old schoolgirl. I've finally obtained eternal life. Lu Sherman was so excited that she didn't know what to do, laughing and crying at the same time. Grabbing a blade, she jumped into the pile of corpses and slashed them to vent her emotions. After a while, she finally calmed down. The old voice came again. Not only that, our heroine will receive the 3rd treasure chest. Chapter 297. Lu Sherman couldn't wait to open the chest. The brilliant light dissipated, and a golden ring floated quietly in the air. The old voice exclaimed in admiration. Everyone look, this is the ring of teleportation. With this ring, our champion can teleport back to the arena of Eternal at any time to avoid any threats from the outside world. When our champion wants to leave, we will arrange for her to be teleported back to any safe location on this planet. There is no cooldown period for teleportation. She can do it at any time. Lu Sherman put the ring on and couldn't help but ask, how do I activate it? The old voice answered right away. You only need to use your earth elemental power to surround it, and it will be activated, the old voice added. Martial cultivators use their martial thaumaturgy. God's chosens use their God's chosen skill to activate the ring of teleportation. How is it? Our champion lady, are you satisfied with your prize? Lu Sherman excitedly shouted. I'm very satisfied then. Are you still afraid of that clown? If I can escape at any time, why the hell would I be afraid of it? Lu Sherman swung her fist. Very good, very good. The old voice was very satisfied. In the following matches, we will also use this powerful equipment to ensure that everyone's lives will not be threatened by some evil entity. The prize has been given out. Lu Sherman will soon return to reality. Everyone, please give a round of applause for such a great hero. Following its words, Lu Sherman disappeared from the arena. There were only about 100 corpses left on the arena. The old voice continued. The next game of Eternal will begin at the same time tomorrow. If you want to be like Lu Sherman, obtain eternal life and great power, as well as the ability to escape from danger at any time, Then hurry up and join the competition. We are looking forward to more participants. Perhaps the next champion will be you. Very well. Let us meet again at the same time tomorrow. As soon as the old voice finished speaking, the image disappeared without a trace. This is going to be troublesome. Jang Young-ho opened his eyes. I have to be honest. Even I'm a bit tempted. Me too. But I know myself better than you do. Liao Xing opened his eyes and said, That's because you don't know how to fight. Jang Young-ho retorted. Little brat, I don't need to fight to take care of you. Liao Xing glared at him. Impartial goddess voice came. Confirmed target, Lu Sherman, member of the Federation, Chongning County Southeast, specific location locked on, requesting Yi Fei Li to attack. Gu Qingshan looked at Yi Fei Li and said, The vital point of the Bloodbone Demoness is the top of her head. If you attack other places, you will only get half the result with twice the effort. He continued, Don't prolong the battle. You have to kill him in one strike. Only then will you be able to intimidate others. Do you understand? Don't worry, a newly born fourth phase Earth Spirit is nothing in front of me, Yi Fei Li said, but you didn't mention the most important problem. She can teleport away at any time. This time, just relying on force is not enough. So, that's why we need professionals. Gu Qingshan looked at Jang Young-ho. Jang Young-ho said, My price is very high. What did you say? I didn't hear you just now. Can you say it again? Anna stared at him. It sounds like someone wants to leave our partnership. Gu Qingshan squinted her eyes. Jang Young-ho looked at Anna. Then, at Gu Qingshan, helplessly said, We're on the same side. We don't need to pay. Jang Young-ho turned on his hollow brain and quickly started assigning tasks. Seeing how busy he was, Yi Fei Li said, Is killing someone so troublesome? A hitman is a technical job. You need to use your brain to do it, Jang Young-ho said. He scowled. The other party is a fourth-stage elementalist. The most crucial strike still needs the strongest person to do it. Gu Qingshan looked at Anna. I probably can't swing my sword, so you'll have to do it for me. Anna showed an attentive expression and asked, What should I do? I can restrain her for 2 seconds. During these 2 seconds, she won't be able to use her elemental powers to teleport, Gu Qingshan answered. Anna asked, Do I have to kill her directly? Jang Young-ho replied, No. That's something Yi Fei Li should do on a live stream. Hearing that, Anna calmed down. And here I was thinking how hard it would be. 2 seconds is more than enough for me. The problem is that we can't let her notice anything. Otherwise, she'll teleport away. Gu Qingshan looked at Jang Young-ho and said. Jang Young-ho said, I'll create the opportunity. You restrain her. Anna's in charge of attacking, Anna replied. No problem, Gu Qingshan also said. I'm fine with that as well. Seeing them agree, Yi Fei Li waved her hand. The murder clown armor rose up from the ground, once again covering him. Impartial goddess, Gu Qingshan said, Prepare to start the live stream. Roger, everything has been prepared. Please don't worry, sir. Jang Young-ho, we'll listen to you this time, Gu Qingshan said. All right, Jang Young-ho said. Gu Qingshan then said, We can't leave this place without people. Liao Xing. We'll leave the warp and other matters to you, don't worry. Liao Xing patted his chest and said. The murder clown, Gu Qingshan, Anna, and Jang Young-ho all walked onto the large-sized warp device. Liao Xing quickly operated on the screen and said, The location has been locked on, preparing to warp. Are you ready? The murder clown suddenly spread its black wings of light, raising its hand to give them a thumbs up. Liao Xing slapped a certain part of the screen and shouted, Let's go kill that cold-blooded chick. A blinding blue light flashed as the 4 of them disappeared from the S.W. Divine Temple. Lu Sherman returned to reality. The game of Eternal was very considerate, specifically finding a secluded alleyway to let her go. Looking down, she was still wearing the golden ring on her finger. The glass on the side of the street showed her youthful appearance when she was 18 years old. Strangely, the little girl in front of the glass was wearing a sturdy battle suit. Lu Sherman silently smiled. Her figure turned into a blurred image as she went past a clothing store. Putting a large cap on her head, she then went to a girl's clothing store. Avoiding everyone's gaze, Lu Sherman directly opened the door and entered a changing room with a Do Not Disturb sign. When she came out, She had already changed into an old girl's clothing, still wearing the cap. After a while, the girl's clothing store finally let out a cry of surprise. Lou Sherman was quickly walking on the street. This place was already a bustling district. Everywhere was bustling with noise and excitement. While walking, she looked around, even picking up a pair of sunglasses from a girl's bag. She put on the sunglasses, and no one could recognize her. Walking through the crowd for a while, Lou Sherman casually bought a bottle of drink. She didn't sense any killing intent, nothing out of the ordinary. Everyone was focused on their own business. The only ones who paid attention to her were all young men. That kind of gaze is very familiar to her. That kind of expression, they all look like they've never been through any kind of killing before. Lou Sherman slowly slowed down. Suddenly, she noticed something. Not too far away from her, an old man was sitting comfortably on an outdoor coffee table, squinting his eyes as he listened to the news on his hollow brain. Latest news. The winner of the game of Eternal is our city's most wanted murderer, professionist Lou Sherman. Right now, the government and other forces are all looking for her. Because Lou Sherman is a citizen of this city, there's a high chance that she'll appear in this city. A lot of people are worried that the battle between Lou Sherman and the murder clown might affect the city. Hearing that, Lou Sherman was shocked. How did the news spread so quickly? She rubbed the golden ring on her finger. Chapter 298. Lou Sherman looked around, found a public washroom, went in, and closed the door. Looking up at the golden ring on her hand, Lou Sherman was a bit lost in thought. Can I escape from danger at any time? She circulated her elemental power and infused it into the ring. The ring let out a faint golden halo. A few seconds later, Lou Sherman disappeared. Oh! A figure slowly landed on the ground from about half a meter away. This was the arena of Eternal. No lights, no people, no sound, only silence. Lou Sherman silently looked around, then suddenly burst out laughing. Aha! This isn't a dream. Eternal life. Teleport at any time. Rank 4 Earth elemental power. I no longer have any regrets in this world. She danced wildly around the arena, jumping and laughing, and only stopped after a long while. At this time, the old voice slowly came. Look at our champion. How do you feel? Very good. Better than ever before, Lou Sherman excitedly answered. That scene just now was very precious. We'll use it as the opening of the next match for the entire world to see. What do you think? The old voice asked. No, I don't want anyone to see my ugly performance just now. You should let me leave now, Lou Sherman objected. Very well, we'll send you away now, the old voice said. Lou Sherman then disappeared. The arena returned to silence. Suddenly, whispers could be heard from somewhere. A disobedient servant. No need to consider her opinion. Just use that scene just now as the opening. It'll attract even more souls. That's right. After all, she won't be here tomorrow. A few seconds later, all the voices stopped. Lou Sherman once again appeared in the arena, excitedly looking around. So good. This is the power of a god, she screamed. After a while, she teleported away again. Whispers could be heard again. Are we just going to let her waste our power like that? A voice asked. There's no other way. Demonis is still in her growth stage. We have to do this. Not to mention that annoying clown, that's right. We have to guarantee her safety. The voices disappeared again. Lou Sherman appeared. Lou Sherman knocked a man unconscious and dragged him to a secluded corner. She opened the man's backpack and searched through his belongings. There's nothing to eat. She frowned. He took out the other party's optical supercomputer, but found that it was locked, and he couldn't access it at all. Lou Sherman angrily threw the hollow brain to the ground. What she didn't notice was that the photon computer had been unlocked. Although the screen didn't light up, the photon computer was silently recording something as she tumbled through the air. On the S.W. Divine Temple, the thousands of light screens suddenly stopped moving. Impartial goddess voice came. Suspend the surveillance plan for all of humanity. Extracting 352974 real-time photon computer abnormalities, comparing and identifying, discovering the target's unique brainwaves and facial features. Target confirmed. Mobilize all surveillance facilities and monitor the target. The target has not disappeared. It has persisted longer than the previous 4 times. Real-time intelligence transmission commencing. The other side. Found it. This time, she didn't teleport immediately. Jang Young-ho stood up and extinguished his cigarette. I'm going to make arrangements first. Wait for my news. Liao Xing, warp him to that city. Gu Qing-shan ordered. Coming. Liao Xing's voice came from the holobrain. Jang Young-ho raised his personal warp device and quickly disappeared in front of Gu Qing-shan and Anna. Lu Sherman was really annoyed right now. It's been over 10 hours since she joined the Eternal Challenge. She's used up a lot of stamina and energy, but still hasn't eaten anything. With her constitution, she can easily go 1 or 2 days without eating. But for some reason, she just feels hungry. A bone-deep hunger. But in this day and age, with the advancement of technology, paper money has already been abandoned. Wherever people go, they pay with their holobrain. If they lose their holobrain or don't bring it, they can also pay with nothing. Everyone's brainwaves are different, just like fingerprints. People stand in front of the counter, scan their unique brainwaves, take a picture of their facial features, then pay. The bank will directly deduct the credits from the terminal. Normally, Lu Sherman would use the modified holobrain provided by the black market, but after she became the champion, she threw it away. Who knows how much money the black market has already made from her personal information? Those unscrupulous hackers most likely left a backdoor in the holobrain. Normally I don't care, but right now I'm the center of attention. If I keep using my holobrain, I'll definitely be found out. Even if the ring of teleportation can keep on teleporting, if the holobrain is being monitored from afar, the other party will be able to take control of it and come looking for me at any time. I can't just keep teleporting. I have to eat, sleep, and go to the bathroom. Not to mention, there are too many strange God's chosen skills in this world that can find a person just by looking for clues. Do I have to steal food? Ridiculous. I'm a 4th-stage elementalist. I have eternal life. Do I have to rely on this kind of thing to survive from now on? After her initial excitement, Lu Sherman calmed down. Rubbing the ring on her finger, she decided to go to the hidden location that she's already prepared. As soon as she thought of that, she left the man in a secluded place and quickly left. Teleportation is random, so if I want to go there, I'll need a means of transportation. She pulled down her hat, looked for landmarks, and found a large shuttle parking lot. She silently went in, followed the surveillance's blind spot, carefully walked along the dark wall. Elemental power was gathering inside her body, ready to be unleashed. As soon as there's anything wrong, Lu Sherman will immediately activate the ring and leave. Not too long later, she saw a man start the shuttle, but didn't get in. The man was standing at the door, talking to someone on his holobrain. I think it's best if I come here myself. It'll be more sincere this time's consultation. I need to talk to the specialist about the surgery. That's right. Then I'll go to Capital Hospital tomorrow. I might leave right now. Lu Sherman only hesitated for a second before she moved. As the man was about to hang up, he was knocked unconscious by a karate chop and dragged into the shuttle. The entire process was as fast as lightning. It's in the surveillance's blind spot, so no one will notice. The man himself also didn't see anything. No blood, no screams. The shuttle parking lot security cameras won't notice anything out of the ordinary. This is a professional, perfect assassination operation. Lu Sherman closed the shuttle. When she was about to kill the man, the shuttle's electronic voice came. According to your notebook, you're about to meet with the specialist from Capital Hospital. Lu Sherman's hand stopped in midair. She searched the man's body, then took out his holobrain. Luckily, the man had just hung up, so he didn't have time to turn off his holobrain. Lu Sherman took out the man's health card and checked it. A heart problem of over a dozen years. Over 100 visits, 2 surgeries. Lu Sherman pulled up the man's sleeve and saw a medical bracelet. The medical bracelet is constantly monitoring the man's heart rate, synchronized with the hospital's emergency center, making it easier for the hospital to send medical personnel to save him. If she takes off the bracelet or kills the man, the emergency center's processor will immediately know and determine that there's something wrong with the man's heart. A rescue robot will quickly arrive. Chapter 299. Lusher Man thought for a bit, then fiercely stabbed the man's body a few times. This will make the man fall into a deep coma, unable to wake up for a day or two. Lusher Man put the man into the shuttle's storage room and closed the door. She sat down in the shuttle's cockpit and activated it. First, take this man. When he's far enough away, I'll cut off his hand and throw it away. The corpse might be a bit more troublesome, so I'll need to change the location. The shuttle rumbled as it flew away. Following the pre-planned flight path, the shuttle headed in a certain direction. Lusher Man checked the destination and found it was the Federation Capital Hospital. From the conversation just now, this person really did want to go to the hospital. Should I change the flight path? While she was thinking, a notification popped up on the shuttle. Urgent news. Due to the Game of Eternal's influence, the number of shuttles entering our city has greatly increased. Currently, the flight paths in and out of our city are unable to handle the heavy load. Flight paths 1 to 7 are currently congested. Flight paths 8 to 10 are a bit slow. Flight path 11 is currently unmanned. Please change your flight path. How troublesome. Lusher Man opened the flight path and chose the smooth flight path 11. She thought for a bit, checked the direction on the map, then changed the destination to a mountainous area near the border. The navigation system quickly finished planning the flight path. Lusher Man sighed in relief. That's a place that she's already prepared. A perfect safe house hidden deep inside a mountain near the border, with enough supplies to support 5 people for 7 years. The food and daily necessities inside the safe house are all handpicked by herself, ensuring the comfort of living. That place is right in the middle of a cliff. The entrance is well hidden. If you don't use equipment to look for it, you won't be able to find it. When the man-killer fiend and the sea monsters came, she already prepared this place. And now she managed to steal a shuttle without alerting anyone. What good luck, because on the way to the safe house, she only needs to use the shuttle. When she's about to arrive, she'll set the shuttle to an automatic flight path, setting the destination as the ocean. Then she'll jump off the shuttle. That way, no one will be able to find her. Thinking that, Lusher Man felt a bit happy. The murder clown still hasn't appeared. That's the only concern. The champion of the last few matches, even with the protection of the entire dojo's professionists, was still killed by the clown. From the looks of it, the more people there were, the more chaotic it would be. I have the ring of teleportation. As long as I find the murder clown in time, I'll be able to activate it. Even if the clown did not come, the situation was too tense. There would definitely be a lot of people looking for him. It was best to stay in the safe house for a while before coming out again. The shuttle adjusted its direction and quickly flew along the newly planned route. A few hours later, the electronic voice on the shuttle issued a reminder. It's 2:37 in the afternoon. It's been detected that you're a little tired. The automatic navigation system will take over the flight mission. Do you agree? Lusher Man stretched her back, then yawned. In the arena of Eternal, fighting continuously until she won, her mental state had always been on high alert. Even though the coffin in the game had healed the injuries on the body, one's spirit would still be exhausted. Returning to reality, she had to disguise herself, steal a shuttle, and constantly be on guard against a murder clown. She was about to reach her limit. Lusher Man thought for a bit, then said, I don't agree. I'll continue driving, all right. After receiving her reply, the electronic voice disappeared. Another hour passed. Lusher Man was so hungry that she couldn't take it anymore. She scowled, endured it, and continued to fly the shuttle forward. A few hours later, it was already evening. Find me a place that sells food around here. Lusher Man finally gave the order. She found that if she keeps going hungry, not to mention fighting, even piloting the shuttle would be a problem. The electronic voice spoke. Changyuan City is about 30 kilometers ahead. The top 3 restaurants there are, Lusher Man cut it off. Don't go into the city. Find a small town. Very well, to reach the nearest town, you'll need to fly for another 117 kilometers. Then go to the next town, Lusher Man insisted. Fly faster, she added. Yes. A few minutes later, they finally arrived. 2 restaurants have been recommended. The electronic voice spoke. Lusher Man glanced around and found that this was a small town far away from the city. There were two restaurants in this town, one at the center, the other on the road outside the town. Obviously, the first one only serves the residents of the town. It also has a high rating, so it doesn't have to worry about business. The second one is directly on the side of the road. It only serves passers-by. The food is even more local. This restaurant also needs to have a good reputation, otherwise the customers would just choose another roadside restaurant. From a quality point of view, these two restaurants are definitely the best. There are too many people, Lu Sherman muttered as she read through the hundreds of customer reviews. She thought for a bit, then asked, "Are there any other restaurants in this town?" The signs of 7 dining spots appeared on the map. Lu Sherman looked at the map, picked the most remote restaurant, and ordered, "We're going there." "Very well, planning route," the electronic voice answered. Not too long after, the shuttle landed and stopped at the restaurant in the town. Lu Sherman scowled. There were already a lot of hover cars parked here, as well as 7 to 8 shuttles. That doesn't seem like much. This was already the most unpopular restaurant, and it was specially chosen by him. It's dinner time right now, so it's normal for a shuttle to land here to eat. Otherwise, this restaurant wouldn't be able to stay open. The town's residents would also come here to eat. Thinking that, Lu Sherman looked at the restaurant. There aren't a lot of people inside, only a few seats. It's a bit quiet. Everyone was busy eating. Occasionally, some familiar townsfolk would greet each other and say a few words. Lu Sherman nodded. This is already the best choice she could make. Suddenly, a small personal aircraft arrived at the restaurant. A young man carried a large food delivery box on his back, got off the tattered personal aircraft, and began to move the food. Obviously, he just returned from delivering food. Every restaurant looks the same. There's nothing out of the ordinary about having a delivery person. Lu Sherman was a bit hesitant as she watched the young man enter the restaurant. At this time, a few more shuttles landed. The doors opened as more people came out. A few more people were coming out of the restaurant, about to leave. Lu Sherman looked at the people outside the restaurant. A family of 5, a family of 3, 2 couples, as well as a few experienced young people. There's suddenly a lot of people. Lu Sherman's expression changed. She didn't move, not even opening the door, only turned on the holographic projection of the shuttle and silently observed the situation outside. Chapter 300. Lu Sherman lightly touched the ring, hesitant. The murder clown is too terrifying. Even if she had the ability to leave at any time, she was still a little nervous about facing such a terrifying, unknown monster. Outside the restaurant, several young people were smoking. The family of 5 boarded the shuttle one after another. The family of 3 had just arrived, and the parents were walking toward the restaurant with their children. About a few minutes later, the family of 5 drove the shuttle away. After smoking, the youngsters chatted and laughed as they walked towards their respective shuttles. Under Lu Sherman's gaze, the young people's shuttles started to move and slowly flew away. Lu Sherman's expression slowly relaxed. She looked at the restaurant and saw that there were not many people inside. At this moment, a curse came from the entrance of the restaurant. "You're so slow. Hurry up." "Ah, yes. Yes." When Lu Sherman looked back, the restaurant's door suddenly opened. A young man ran out, carrying a lunchbox, and hurriedly ran out. It was the young man who had gone out to deliver the food. Perhaps he was a little flustered after being scolded, as he almost bumped into the family of 3. I'm sorry, Tong Tong." The young man quickly apologized. "Brother Zhang, why are you always so rash?" The girl rebuked. She looked to be only 15 or 16 years old. Naturally, she was unhappy after being hit just now. "The boss is too fierce. If I'm late, he'll deduct my salary. What can I do?" The young man smiled bitterly. "Why are you here today?" he asked again. The girl's mother said proudly, "Tong Tong won first place in the musical instrument competition today. Let's celebrate." As they were talking, a resident of the small town walked past them and praised, "Tong Tong won the first place. Really good." "Of course I'm the best," the girl said proudly with her head held high. The few of them quickly finished their greetings. The family of 3 opened the door of the restaurant. The coarse voice from before sounded again. "Welcome, Lao Li, see you, and the lovely Tong Tong. You haven't come to my place for a while." "Yes, we're here to celebrate today." "What good thing is it?" Tong Tong got first place. The news in the town is reporting about it. It's on the news? Tong Tong is the best. You don't need to praise me. Hurry up and give me a black wheat smoked beef. The restaurant's door quickly closed, cutting off their conversation. Lusher Man silently looked away. Smoked beef on rye? It sounded delicious. At this time, the young man who delivered the food came to the empty space and looked around. The young man looked at Lusher Man on the shuttle and loudly asked, "Did you order takeout?" Lusher Man cautiously stared at him and slowly shook her head. She gathered the power of the 5 elements in her hand and was ready to activate the ring at any time. "That's strange. I've already paid, and the time isn't wrong either," the young man muttered. At this time, the roar of a flying shuttle could be heard. A shuttle landed in front of the restaurant. The hatch opened, and a pleasant female voice came from inside. "Is my meal ready?" The young man hurriedly ran over until he reached the shuttle. "Your order is complete. Please tell me your contact number." The female voice in the shuttle reported a number. The young man lowered his head to look at his personal optical computer. Then he picked up the large boxes in his hands and walked into the shuttle. "Enjoy your meal," he said. At this time, a few more shuttles landed. As the hatch opened, people happily walked into the restaurant. A fat middle-aged man wearing a chef's uniform stuck his head out of the door and shouted, "Hurry back and help after you're done, idiot. Can't you see there's a lot of customers right now?" The young man responded and quickly got off the flying shuttle and ran back. Lusher Man stared at this until the restaurant's door closed with a bang. So disgusting, the sound of a woman's chewing and complaining could be heard from the shuttle from before. The sound of second box being opened. The sound of someone gulping down soup could be heard. Lusher Man relaxed a bit, as if she was starving to her limit. When she was about to get off the shuttle, she thought of something. Lusher Man looked at the woman's shuttle. Because her line of sight was blocked by the shuttle, she couldn't see what the woman inside the shuttle looked like. It's not that she's so perverted that she has to look at her face. This kind of small matter is easy to deal with. She took out the shuttle's owner's phone and dialed a number. It was the number that the woman gave her before. A few seconds later, a melodious ringtone could be heard from the shuttle in front of her. Lusher Man immediately hung up. "Another prank call? I really don't know which service company is selling user data again," the woman complained. Bam! A heavy sound. The woman seemed to have dropped something on the ground. What a terrible temper she has. But Lusher Man sighed in relief. She's a customer who came to get her food, that's right. The murder clown's voice is male, and it's an unknown entity, so it can't be this rude woman. Lusher Man thought. Everyone she saw just now should be fine, because they all left right after they finished eating. Only that family of 3. That family of 3 landed right after my shuttle. They also came to eat. They seemed to be residents of a small town. Lusher Man thought for a bit, then turned on her hollow brain and typed in the name of the town. Find the town. Check the news. In a secluded corner, she found a picture of a musical instrument competition. In the picture, the girl called Tong Tong was holding a trophy, standing next to her parents, smiling happily. Lusher Man shook her head and turned off her hollow brain. At this time, the woman on the other shuttle also seems to have finished her meal. The smell of food came from afar. Lusher Man suddenly felt that if she keeps going like this, even if she has eternal life, she'll still have to live a life of torture. The destination was changed by me. The route was rearranged by the system. The town was chosen by me. The place to eat was chosen by me from the 9 restaurants in the town. What's wrong with that? The people below are all residents of the town. The few young men who look suspicious have already flown away. I'm so hungry, let's eat. Lusher Man made her decision. She still didn't get off the shuttle. Instead, took the unconscious man's hollow brain and connected to this restaurant. She still hasn't turned off this hollow brain. Just now, she went to the storage room and used his fingerprint to unlock the payment program. A connection appeared on the hollow brain. You're currently connecting to Katz's Deli. Connection successful, a young voice came. Hello, this is Katz's Deli's delivery service. Please place your order. It was the voice of the young man who delivered the food just now. Lusher Man relaxed a bit and ordered a lot of food at once. A lot of food and drinks, enough for her to eat for a whole day, and more. For the rest of the journey, she doesn't want to find another place to eat or drink. She wants to fly all the way to the mountainous border without stopping. Are you done? Very well, I'll deliver it to. HM, you're in our restaurant? The young man asked confusedly. Lusher Man answered, I'll be outside the restaurant. When you're done, deliver it directly to the shuttle. Ah, all right then. You've ordered quite a bit. Please wait a few minutes, the young man said. Lusher Man hung up. Not too long after, she saw the young man from before coming out of the restaurant. Idiot, hurry back and mop the floor after delivering the food. The fat owner's roar came from inside the restaurant. Got it, the young man answered, carrying a large lunchbox, looking around as he walked towards the empty space where the shuttle was parked. Seeing the young man coming, Lusher Man hesitated a bit, but didn't greet him. The young man walked straight to the woman's shuttle and asked, Excuse me, did you order this? The finished fast food box was thrown out of the shuttle and answered his question very well. The young man begrudgingly took a few steps back and looked around again. His eyes couldn't see Lusher Man at all. The young man stretched his neck and shouted, Who ordered this? Is she here yet? What an idiot. Lusher Man helplessly stood up and opened the door. I'm here, but she didn't go out and only called out while leaning against the door. Even now, the elemental power in her hand hasn't dissipated, ready to teleport away at a moment's notice. The young man finally turned around and saw the open door. Ah, I see you. Chapter 301. He's clearly here, but he hasn't said a word. Is there something wrong with him? The young man muttered in a low voice. As a perfectionist, Lusher Man's hearing is sharp, so she heard every single word of the young man's complaints. She wasn't angry at all and calmly observed her surroundings. On the 360-degree projection, the situation outside the shuttle was clearly shown. There were no more shuttles landing, no one had finished their meals, and not a single hover car passed by on the road outside. This was the safest moment. Lusher Man lightly rubbed the golden ring on her finger, then suddenly laughed and shook her head. The young man walked to the door of the shuttle and called out, Your food, please come down and receive it. Lusher Man really did order a lot of food, so the young man was already panting a bit after carrying it for a while. From the looks of it, he seems to want to wait for her to receive it, not to bring it up. But Lusher Man won't go down. Bring it up quickly, she ordered. The young man couldn't do anything but struggled. Please tell me your personal phone number. Lusher Man told him the unconscious man's hollow brain number. Fine. The young man had no choice but to carry the large box of food and slowly boarded the shuttle. As he entered the shuttle, he was a bit surprised, because the owner of this shuttle was standing on the other side of the shuttle, cautiously watching him. What's wrong with him? The young man muttered and put the boxes of food on the dining table inside the shuttle. He quickly put them away. He looked at the other person and said, Enjoy your meal. Saying so, he turned around and left without any hesitation. Lusher Man stared at his back, thinking that she has at least a few dozen ways to kill him from this angle. When the young man got to the door, a rock spear silently appeared in Lusher Man's hand. She made a throwing motion, ready to throw. At the same time, she gathered elemental power on her finger, ready to warp at any moment. A few moments later, the young shop assistant walked out just like that, not even turning his head back as he walked down the escalator of the flying shuttle in a few steps. He really left. Quickly running back to the restaurant, the young man slammed the door shut. From the looks of it, he ran away in a hurry. That's right, he still needs to mop the floor. Is there really nothing wrong with this person? Seems like it. Lusher Man shook her head, silently feeling that she was a bit nervous. The rock spear disappeared from her hand. She looked at the large pile of food on the table and couldn't help but swallow her saliva. As she walked towards the dining table, she suddenly noticed that there was an indicator light in front of the driver's seat. What is it? Lusher Man asked. The shuttle does not have enough energy to reach the destination. Please pay attention to recharging, the electronic voice replied. I know, Lusher Man was annoyed. She opened the lunchbox and scanned the food with a small device. When the green light turned green, she began to eat. As she wolfed down the food, she tried to figure out a way to recharge the shuttle. The shuttle needed to enter a large charging center to charge, and the charging center would read the information of the shuttle owner. In that case, someone would soon discover information about the missing shuttle from the data stream of the charging center. The trouble did not stop there. Once it was connected to the charging center, hackers could easily hack into the shuttle's driving system and know its route at any time. Even after Lu Sherman was full, she still couldn't think of a good solution. Outside, the door of the restaurant opened. The girl named Tong Tong walked out. "Don't stay out too late. Remember to go home early," her father's voice came. "So annoying. I want to stay out a bit longer. I want to play all night." The girl was in her rebellious phase, loudly complaining. Her father couldn't do anything but say nothing. Quite a few people in the restaurant laughed at her. The girl hurriedly opened the shuttle door and got in. Quickly starting up the shuttle, the girl took out her hollow brain and chatted with her friends on the screen. The other side was obviously a party. The music was very loud. Young men and women were dancing around. A few girls wearing beautiful clothes were standing on the screen, raising a bottle of liquor in their hands, gesturing to Tong Tong. "Hurry, hurry. You're late today," one of the girls said. "I'll be right there. Wait for me. I'll give you a time. If you're not here by then, we'll go to the next party." As soon as the other side said that, a clock suddenly appeared on Lu Sherman's hollow brain. The second and minute hands started to move. "It's only been 10 minutes. You're so cruel." Tong Tong screamed in shock, hurriedly setting a course on the shuttle's GPS. She didn't know that someone was standing behind her, silently watching everything. Lu Sherman pulled back her gaze and lightly opened her backpack. An eye-catching trophy appeared in front of Lu Sherman. This trophy is exactly the same as the one on the news. There was a line of text on the trophy: Fu Ning Village Musical Instrument Competition. First place, next to the trophy, was a flute. There was also a line of text on the flute: For Tong Tong, I hope she'll persevere after looking at all of this. Lu Sherman gently put her backpack back. This shuttle is a normal civilian shuttle, but it's inconspicuous, and no one will be able to track it down for a few hours. Tong Tong doesn't want to go home. Everyone can see that. So if she's late, her parents will be worried and angry, but they won't think too much about it for now. This is a very normal town, unlike those large shuttles that have sophisticated human security cameras. I'll just kill them, then find a lake to drown their corpses. That'll solve the problem of the trip perfectly. Thinking that, Lu Sherman raised her hand. Earth elemental power condensed into a sharp rock dagger that she held tightly in her hand. She raised the rock dagger in her hand. Suddenly, a figure appeared behind her. This figure didn't make any sound, didn't give off any presence, as if it's a void that doesn't exist. Lu Sherman didn't notice it at all. In front of Lu Sherman, Tong Tong was looking down at her hollow brain, while the figure behind Lu Sherman only silently stared at the two of them without making any movements. Lu Sherman moved. The rock dagger was aimed at the back of the girl's head. With this strike, the girl won't even have the chance to scream before she dies. Her corpse will be tossed into a remote lake, and her parents won't be able to find her ever again. In that split second, three things happened at the same time like a soundless thunderclap. Tong Tong didn't even turn around, only used 2 fingers to catch the dagger. A flaming black skull appeared from the void of space. Lu Sherman was lightly tapped on the shoulder. Oh no! Lu Sherman's mind screamed, wanting to activate her ring of teleportation. But this light tap caused her entire body to go numb. As if she was electrocuted, her entire body went numb, unable to use even a bit of strength. At the same time, the flaming black skull opened its mouth and bit down on her hand. The golden ring was completely broken by the skull's bite. Her arm was instantly burnt to a crisp. Only the golden ring was still intact. The second hand on Tong Tong's hollow brain had just ticked down. A blood-red glow quickly descended from the sky, landed on the shuttle, grabbed Lu Sherman by the neck, and flew away. Mission complete. The figure behind Lu Sherman suddenly bent down and coughed violently. Tong Tong stood up and asked with concern, "Mr. Gu, do you need my help?" "No need. I'll do it," a pleasant female voice answered. Anna appeared at the door. The three of them returned to Lu Sherman's shuttle and opened the door to the storage room. The man who was knocked out before was sitting there smoking a cigar. "We could go now." Chapter 302. Jang Young-ho took a deep drag of his cigar and complained, "My cravings are acting up. I've been holding in for a long time." The four of them came out of the shuttle and went to the empty space in front of the restaurant. Tong Tong did a good job. "You can leave now," he ordered. "Yes, boss." Tong Tong disappeared into the darkness. Gu Qingshan was intrigued. "What's her rank in your Hitman Guild?" Jang Young-ho answered, "She's the 11th Hitman. Why didn't you let your number 1 Hitman participate?" Anna asked, annoyed. Jang Young-ho pointed at the restaurant and said, "The owner of the restaurant is my number 1 Hitman." Anna was relieved. "No wonder this restaurant is so disgusting. I had to force myself to eat." "It's because you're too picky," Jang Young-ho helplessly said. "My number 1 Hitman is a real blue-ribbon chef. Under normal circumstances, he's able to handle all sorts of picky tastes. What? It's only been me and Gu Qingshan doing the work. You've only sent out 2 hitmen you haven't done anything at all." Anna glanced at Jang Young-ho. Jang Young-ho didn't say anything and only clapped his hands. Instantly, all the noise disappeared. The sound of conversation, laughter, the waiters cleaning up their plates and orders. Even the owner's laughter was cut off. The owner, Tong Tong's parents, the townsfolk, the young delivery man, etc., all of them came out of the restaurant and quickly headed in different directions. The restaurant, that was originally quite lively, was instantly deserted. Jang Young-ho picked up his hollow brain and ordered, "Mission's over. Bring all the townsfolk back here. Be careful. Don't disturb their sweet dreams." Anna was very curious and asked, "Aren't you going to explain?" "All the customers and employees are my subordinates." Jang Young-ho turned off his hollow brain and answered, "Hitman." "Yes." Anna thought for a bit and asked, "Then what if she didn't choose this restaurant?" "Whichever restaurant she chose, the result would be the same. Why not? The whole town, from the mayor to the stray dogs, are all killers. As long as she shows a flaw, anyone can make a move. The electronic map is specially designed. Her route is completely under my control. No matter how she flies, as long as she's prepared to stop, she'll reach this town. Even if she doesn't want to stop, the shuttle's energy will force her to stop. We still have 3 more plans ready." From the moment she snatched the shuttle, her fate was already decided. Anna shook her head in disbelief. Gu Qingshan smiled and said, "You've worked hard." Jang Young-ho complained, "It's indeed more troublesome than killing people. She's really hard to get close to and can teleport away at any time. We can't kill her yet. We have to capture her alive for Yi Fei Li to kill. We have to make her forget about her situation and focus on other things. Only then will we have a chance. For example, asking her to kill someone? Yes." "You guys have done a perfect job," Anna exclaimed. "There's still room for improvement," Jang Young-ho humbly said. He then pointed at Gu Qingshan, saying, "This guy is quite talented at killing people, but he still refuses to join my Hitman Guild. How regretful." Gu Qingshan smiled and said, "Let's go, let's watch the live broadcast." They boarded the shuttle and left this town. The human world. Every country, every place. Countless professionists were silently waiting. This time, the champion is an elementalist who awakened a 4th-stage Earth elemental and has a ring of teleportation. Will the murder clown appear again? Even if the murder clown appears, how will it be able to kill her? Everyone silently waited with doubt in their minds. Time slowly passed. The day was about to end. Quite a few of them were feeling hopeful, feeling restless. Lu Sherman is nothing if I can have eternal life, increase my power by 1 stage, obtain a ring of teleportation. Their longing was suddenly interrupted. All the hollow brains in front of them lit up. Not just that, but the big screens on the streets, the screens in shopping malls, the combined projection screens in their homes. Everything that could display images lit up. A figure appeared on the screen. The murder clown was wearing a jet black armor. A pair of long black wings of light extended from its back. It stood in the air, the clouds behind it. The sound of wind blowing past made it look like a demonic god from ancient legends. But as everyone looked at the clown's face, this feeling was forcibly cut off. Seeing that cold and stiff smile, as well as its crazed, killing intent, everyone felt an indescribable sense of eeriness and fear. "The clown is here," everyone murmured in unison. The entire world held their breath, waiting to see what would happen next. A joyful voice came from behind the clown mask. "Greetings, everyone. I am your loyal servant, the reaper of your lives, the source of your fear. You may call me the murder clown. I think I've said it before. Any human who participates in the game of eternal death is their only outcome. The trial shall now begin. Lucifer man, you have killed 17 innocent people in the game of eternal. Your crimes are unpardonable. You shall be sentenced to death, carried out immediately." Saying so, the murder clown put its hand on its hood, pretending to look around. The clown's cheerful voice suddenly turned into a sobbing tone. "Where is she? I don't know where Lucifer man went." The clown looked at the screen in panic, asking, "Did anyone see her? Did anyone see her? If I can't find her, then I can't kill her. What do I do now?" It was flying around in panic, then suddenly put its face in front of the screen, scaring everyone. The murder clown put up a finger and shushed it. It spoke mysteriously. "Then we're going to find Lucifer man." The murder clown turned into a streak of light, flying down from the sky. With a loud explosion, the clown completely disappeared from the screen. After a few dozen seconds, the clown still hasn't appeared. It left? Then what exactly is it doing now? Everyone couldn't understand it all. The screen flashed. The murder clown finally appeared on the screen. It was holding a struggling person in its hand. It was Lucifer man. The blood-red light enveloped Lucifer man. No matter what she did, she couldn't escape. Everyone could see her screaming. She could see her struggling. They understood that she was in extreme pain, but they couldn't hear a single sound. This soundless killing scene was like a silent movie from ancient times, chilling to the bone. Lucifer man was turned into a pile of bones in the blood-red light. Although she's dead, her bones were still holding on to the blood-red light, as if trying to escape. This scene left a deep impression on everyone. The champion of Eternal was still killed by the clown. While everyone was silently sighing, their hearts suddenly tightened. At this moment, everyone was staring at the screen, speechless. On the screen, a scene that sent chills down everyone's spine appeared. Inside the pile of bones, a piece of black flesh was still there. Chapter 303. The black piece of flesh quickly grew and turned into a woman who was about the same height as a normal person and had a ferocious face. This was a monster. Although it had the characteristics of female, the monster had a curved horn on its head, sharp claws on both its hands and feet, as well as a long, spiky tail. The monster roared inside the blood glow. Roar! The blood glow was broken. But this triggered the murder clown's ferocious nature. Bloodbone Demonis, there's no time for you to say your last words. The clown's hands turned into sharp swords, piercing through the Bloodbone Demonis' shoulders. The monster was held in place, struggling madly. The murder clown's black armor suddenly opened up, revealing a pair of large and fearsome bone-spiked wings in front of everyone. This pair of bone-spiked wings glowed red as they flapped forward. The bone-spiked wings closed up around the Bloodbone Demonis body. On top of the wings, sharp spikes pierced deep into the Bloodbone Demonis body. Embark! The Bloodbone Demonis screamed in pain and resentment. "No, how could you know me?" "Your death is the fortune of the world," the murder clown said. The clown's bone-spiked wings suddenly split apart. The monster was torn apart by the immense force. It was torn in half by the wings, but its body didn't fall from the sky. Instead, it was still attached to the two bone-spiked wings. "Ah ha 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 ha!" The clown laughed maniacally. A thick layer of black blood lingered in the air. Even after being blown by the wind, it didn't go away for a long time. The murder clown moved a bit as the black wings reappeared on its back. The pair of fearsome bone spikes were completely covered by the black wings, but the Bloodbone Demonis body and head appeared from within the black light, only to see that half of the body still had a fearful expression on its face. This scene made everyone feel numb all over, chills running down their spines. "Ah ha ha! How delightful!" the murder clown laughed in a high-pitched voice. It suddenly became serious, making a passionate and high-spirited speech. "My declaration is, anyone who participates in the game of Eternal will only have one end, death. I hope my ideals will be recognized by all of you." With a cold and stiff smile on its face, the murder clown stared at the screen with the monster's corpse on its back. In front of the screen, many people could not help but shake their bodies, and they could not help but avoid the clown's gaze. Even a demon, the murder clown, looked up at the two halves of the corpse on its back. "They can't enter our world through the game of eternal." I think I just said a terrible truth. The clown put his hands to his lips and pretended to be scared. She ate the immortal pill. How could a monster appear in her body? Seems like the game of Eternal is having a big promotion. Buying an Eternal pill for free as a parasitic monster. Friends, do you need a parasite? The clown asked. The truth was laid out in front of them. The human world was silent. The clown squirmed and covered his mouth as he giggled. It mimicked the old voice and spoke. "The next game of Eternal will begin at the same time tomorrow. Do you want to be like Lou Sherman and obtain great power? Then hurry up and participate. We're looking forward to more participants. Perhaps the next champion will be you very well. Let us meet again at the same time tomorrow." This was the ending of the game of Eternal, specifically used to entice humans to participate in the game, but it was said by the clown at this moment. Looking at the monster's corpse on the murder clown's wing, hearing the familiar words, everyone felt a chill down their spines. Eternal? This was an indescribable irony. No one was rubbing their palms, no one was eager to try, and no one was cursing the clown. Because eating an immortal pill will result in a demon's parasite. What they're seeing right now is a living example. Humans have always trusted their own eyes more than anything else. At this moment, the professionists were all surrounded and shrouded in fear. Let us meet again in the next game of Eternal. I look forward to your registration, as well as parasites and death. Ahaha. The murder clown laughed maniacally as it flew up into the sky, disappearing into the clouds. It wasn't until it disappeared that all the hollow brain communicators in the world shut down. At this moment, the entire planet fell into a deathly silence. The S.W. Divine Temple. A fatal blow, Gu Qing Shan praised. That's right. All humans have seen the parasite demon. The game of Eternal can't turn things around anymore. Zhang Young-ho opened a bottle of champagne. "I don't drink this drink very often, but I need to drink it now to celebrate our victory. Well done." He raised his glass to Yi Fei Li. Such a bloody scene. Even I feel like it's too realistic. The two of them clinked glasses. But then, what exactly was the monster that appeared afterwards? Zhang Young-ho was a bit confused. A type of demon, if it enters our world, it can quickly parasite and reproduce, causing more and more demons to populate the world, Gu Qingshan answered. After this, after seeing the parasite monster, no one will dare to participate in the game of Eternal again, Liao Xing confirmed. Why? Yi Fei Li asked. Because for humans, the dream of eternal life has been shattered. No one would be willing to have a chance to be a parasite after killing countless people. Everyone nodded. The winner has been decided, Gu Qingshan continued. Now we just need to wait for the results to see how many people participate in the next game of Eternal. At this time, Anna poked him. How's your wound? Anna asked caringly. It probably won't heal that fast. Gu Qingshan smiled bitterly. Right now I'm slowly recovering. He glanced at the war god Ui. The hourglass shows that there's about a day left. 1 day later, I'll enter the cultivation world. Such a serious wound. Only in the other world, with Qin Xiaolo's help, or with the help of a professional doctor, will I be able to heal quickly. Still can't lift your sword? Anna asked. Yes, I can't fight, Gu Qingshan answered. You got hurt like this because of me. Don't worry, I'll definitely protect you well. Anna's eyes were sparkling. Zhang Young-ho, Liao Xing, and Yi Fei Li exchanged meaningful glances. What are you doing? Anna turned and asked. Hungry, Zhang Young-ho rubbed his stomach. It's been a long time. Let's go back for dinner, Gu Qingshan said. After dinner, Gu Qingshan, Yi Fei Li, and Zhang Young-ho were sitting on the living room sofa, chatting. This was a rare moment of rest. Liao Xing staggered over, his face swollen, asking, Where's Anna? She just left? She said she was going shopping. What happened to you? Gu Qingshan asked. All I did was stand in front of her bedroom for a bit, and she already beat me up like this. Liao Xing sat down on the sofa, complaining. You were trying to install something, but she found out. Zhang Young-ho went straight to the point. Liao Xing shook his head, saying, I'll be honest with you guys, girls should be gentle and gentle. A woman like her who always kicks and punches people. If you treat her as your life partner, then, Anna came in. Then we'll be living a happy married life, Liao Xing said. Zhang Young-ho. Yi Fei Li. Why did you come back? Gu Qing-shan asked. I forgot my keys. Anna casually took the keys and left. Chapter 304. While they were chatting, Gu Qing-shan's hollow brain lit up. Impartial goddess voice came. Sir, the system's calculations have been completed. Miniaturization of Planet Guardian is ready. Begin manufacturing, Gu Qing-shan said. A few hours later, 2 silver-white bracelets were sent to the mountaintop mansion by a machine, appearing in front of everyone. Gu Qing-shan put one on and gave the other to Yi Fei Li. Activate Planet Guardian system, he said. The bracelets lit up. Let us demonstrate from the beginning, Gu Qing-shan said. Hello, sir. Impartial goddess voice came. How may I be of service to you today? This is my first time entering the system. Please give me some advice. Are you a professionist? I am a martial artist who has just stepped into the doorstep. 1-star martial artist cultivation knowledge has been prepared. Please slowly study it. If there is anything you don't understand, feel free to ask me. Gu Qing-shan casually performed a basic fist technique. Ting. Sir's fist technique has 4 mistakes. Please look at the screen, Gu Qing-shan said. A man-eater fiend has appeared 500 ahead of me. I can only hide here and request for system assistance. Quest has been issued. Please wait patiently and do not make any big movements. Yi Fei Li's bracelet lit up. Emergency quest. According to your strength, you are qualified to complete this quest. After the quest is completed, you will receive a Federation Medal of Freedom. Would you like to accept? Yi Fei Li found it interesting and said, Accept. A powerful roar suddenly erupted from the bracelet. Yi Fei Li disappeared and reappeared in front of Gu Qing-shan. Gu Qing-shan said, Rescue quest completed. Thank you, system. The system spoke. Player Yi Fei Li completed rescue quest. Receive Federation Medal of Freedom. Please prepare to receive. Bam. The bracelet lit up. A small medal appeared in front of him. Energy used up. Please replenish. After saying so, the bracelet dimmed down. Not bad. Not bad at all, Liao Xing applauded. But energy is a big problem, Zhang Young-ho said. You don't know shit, Liao Xing said. Human warp requires a lot of energy. If it wasn't for this rescue quest, his bracelet could last for a long time, which means under normal circumstances, we can't do human warp? Zhang Young-ho asked. That's right, Gu Qing-shan replied. It's not just a matter of energy. Only powerful professionists would be able to withstand warping without any protection. Furthermore, if everyone warps randomly, it would cause unknown effects to space-time. That's right, he patted Yi Fei Li's shoulder and said, Only GM can warp. What we did just now? Zhang Young-ho asked. Zhang Young-ho asked. Directly search for nearby players and issue a rescue mission, Liao Xing said. This is only a system. It's not a god. Zhang Young-ho's Qing smiled. Liao Xing suddenly laughed and said, Seems like we're walking on an unprecedented path, and we're even getting closer and closer to success. We need to hurry and get Planet Protector online as soon as possible. That way we'll be able to deal a bigger blow to that game of Eternal, Zhang Young-ho said. I have a small suggestion, Yi Fei Li said. Go ahead. Normally, when you enter a game, you'll have a profession to choose from. Why don't we have one? He asked. But professionists awaken naturally through cultivation, Zhang Young-ho said. Gu Qing-shan said, to unlock a normal person's potential and turn them into professionists, we need a genetic serum. Fuxi Empire has the 5 elemental genetic modification technology. The Holy Empire has the God's chosen genetic modification technology. Our Federation has the Fighter genetic modification technology. All 3 of these technologies have a certain chance of turning a normal person into a professionist. The normal God's chosen awakening serum can be created with the formulas we have. The Fighter potential serum isn't a problem either. The only thing we're lacking right now is the 5 elemental awakening serum. Even a normal 5-elemental serum formula is more than enough. In other words, our next step is to make the 5-elemental awakening serum. That's right. Once we get the 5-elemental awakening serum formula, we'll be able to let everyone choose a profession. Seems like it's time to go to the Fushi Empire. After all, the Fushi Emperor is still waiting for me and Anna, Gu Qing-shan silently thought. He added, aside from that, we'll also need to create a profession for those who can't become professionists. But for the game, there's still a very important problem that hasn't been solved yet, Yi Fei said. What problem? Everyone looked at him. Even if only one of the participants of the game of Eternal can win, they'll still be rewarded handsomely. That's right, go on. Yi Fei was a bit worried. This game of ours might be able to help normal people become professionists, or even help people cultivate, but there's no reward system that can make people excited, he shrugged. What do we have? How are we going to reward them? Liao Xing was a bit surprised, scratching his head. I've never thought about that. I'm a scientist, not a video game designer, Zhang Yongho thought for a bit, then said, how about we give them credits? Where does the credits come from? Yi Fei asked. No, we don't need to give them credits, Gu Qing-shan suddenly said. Everyone looked at him. Then what do we do? Yi Fei asked again. But Gu Qing-shan didn't answer right away, looking a bit conflicted. There was a faint smile on his face. Just now, he opened the War God UI to check the hourglass. Because he completed the Decisive Battle, Part 1 quest, the system rewarded him with a few days of time. And now, there's less than a day left until the next time he enters the cultivation world. Gu Qing-shan thought about the cultivation world's formations, weapons, armor, pills, spirit cooking, spirit grasses, treasures, talismans, even spirit stones, chi training stage scriptures, elemental spells, secret arts, fist scriptures, blade manuals, sword techniques. No, there's no need for all that. Just a single chi training stage scripture is enough to make this world go crazy. Spirit energy is a blank field in this world. No one knows how to use it. If one day, professionists learn how to absorb spirit energy, they'll find that with the help of spirit energy, they'll be able to greatly increase the power of their combat skills. As their cultivation increases, spirit energy will also have unimaginable uses. Simple ones like body tempering, spirit root purifying, God's chosen skills. Complex ones like opening a new path of martial arts, inventing new elemental spells, changing God's chosen skills, etc. Even more advanced ones like cultivation civilization will appear. People will be able to use spirit energy to create talismans, formations, weapons, divination, pill making, etc. Because of that, even the simplest chi training scripture is a door that leads to a whole new world. I'll think of a way, Gu Qing-shan muttered. I promise I'll make everyone go crazy for it the next morning. While everyone was eating breakfast, the game of Eternal suddenly appeared. The old voice resounded in everyone's mind. Humans of this world, the apocalypse has come. Calamities will come one after another. Your fate is like an ant in a flood, insignificant and out of your control. Do you want to change your fate? Struggle against fate. Advance through slaughter. Only the strong will be able to survive if you want to become eternal. Then challenge it. Once you succeed, you will gain great power. Gu Qing-shan asked, how long has it been? 10 hours, impartial goddess answered. Chapter 305. After saying that, the old voice's tone suddenly changed. There is an evil clown. It's constantly trying to stop humanity from achieving eternal life, destroying humanity's hope of escaping the apocalypse, and brutally slaughtering brave warriors. Other than that, it also infects innocent people as a parasite. This is an act of extreme evil. We strongly condemn it this time. We will provide the winner with an even more advanced survival device. Suddenly, an accessory appeared in front of everyone. It was a pendant, a long silver string. Hanging from it was a pendant that gave off a faint glow. On top of the pendant was the head of a monster with 2 horns. The old voice came again. This is the pendant of teleportation, an upgraded version of the ring of teleportation. When you wear this pendant, the first time you receive an attack, it will create a protective barrier to block the enemy's attack that way. you'll have enough time to activate the pendant and teleport to the arena of eternal. The old voice pridefully spoke. Friends, what do you think? From now on, there will no longer be any evil existence that can take the lives of the innocent. Liao Xing slammed the table, angrily shouting, "Damn it, this won't be easy to deal with." Yi Fei Li went silent for a bit, muttering, "Can it block one attack?" "It won't be easy to kill." Gu Qingshan smiled and said, "You don't need to think about it. Impartial goddess, record the moment when the murder clown killed that monster. Record it in slow motion for everyone to see again." "Yes, Your Excellency." A few seconds later, countless hollow brains lit up all over the world. Everyone saw the scene of the murder clown ripping apart the bloodbone demoness. "Why would it do that?" Anna asked curiously. "If the monster belongs to the clown's faction, then why would the clown kill its own people? Wouldn't it be even more terrifying to have the parasite attack during a live broadcast?" "That's right. That doesn't make sense," Liao Xing replied. "The game of Eternal still hasn't solved this fatal problem," Gu Qingshan said. "It can't prove whether it was the clown or the game of Eternal that infected Lu Sherman's body. Without a clear answer, who would take this risk? Who would want to be possessed by a demon?" Gu Qingshan retorted. "That's right, it didn't handle it well." Zhang Youngho agreed. "Humans are naturally suspicious. Not to mention this is a matter of life and death. Not to mention, its champion has never been able to escape the fate of being killed by the murder clown. Not even once." Liao Xing emphasized. "If it's the one that infected people with monsters, of course they won't be willing to participate in the game," Zhang Youngho said. "But if the clown has infected people with monsters, then the only outcome for those who participate in the game of Eternal is death," Gu Qingshan said. Parasitism and death are the consequences of participating in the game of Eternal. Who would dare to participate again? Anna said, "If that's the case, we're about to decide the victor between us and it, yes." Gu Qingshan was a little nervous. She said softly, "Let's see how many people will participate in this challenge. This is the key to victory." While they were talking, the old voice continued to speak to the people of the world. "The champion of this challenge, aside from eternal life, will also receive the following 2 rewards. First, the advancement potion. After use, will immediately increase your profession's rank by 1. Second, the pendant of teleportation. In case of danger, the pendant will automatically activate its protective barrier, giving you enough time to return to the arena of Eternal to avoid disaster. Now, as long as you pass the challenge, you'll receive eternal life, advancement of your profession, as well as the pendant of teleportation that will allow you to escape from disaster at any time. What are you hesitating for? This is an unprecedentedly generous reward. Hurry up and sign up." The old voice paused. "It's time to sign up." Gu Qingshan closed her eyes and silently waited. Liao Xing was anxiously scratching his head. Zhang Youngho lit a cigarette and took a few deep puffs. Anna was pursing her lips, occasionally letting out flames. Only Yi Fei Li was looking at the ceiling with a calm expression. But the wings of bone spikes on his back suddenly sprouted. So he was nervous too. It was only a few minutes, but it was unusually long. It made people feel like they had been waiting for a long time. The old voice finally sounded. "The people who want to become eternal have been chosen, randomly selected participants from this world, a total of 0 people." It seemed extremely disappointed. Perhaps everyone didn't hear our reward clearly. I'll repeat it again. It really said it again. In the end, the old voice broke out in an impassioned tone full of incitement. "After the intense competition, we will choose the final winner. The winner will receive an unprecedented 3 precious prizes. I repeat, these 3 prizes are supreme treasures. They are the eternal pill, the advancement potion, and the teleportation pendant. Now, let's begin the registration." Another long time passed. The old voice sounded again. This time, its tone became disappointed and dejected. "Pitiful humans, eternal life is right before your eyes, yet you turn a blind eye to it because of your short-sightedness and ignorance. The apocalypse is upon us. Do you really think that without the power of eternal life, you will be able to live on? For some reason, Its tone seemed different from before, carrying a hint of malice and cursing. I will be watching you from the divine temple of eternal life. Humans, your fate will be unimaginably bleak. One day, you will remember the choice you made today and remember what you rejected. The old voice slowly went silent. At the same time, everyone in the world felt the ground shaking. It wasn't just the ground that was shaking, even the sky itself started to wrinkle. Following a series of heavy sighs and footsteps, this scene quickly disappeared, as if something huge and invisible had just left this world. Gu Shan jumped up from the sofa and punched the air. "We've won," he yelled. "We won against the game of eternal." Liao Xing raised both hands and cheered. "Well done, actor comrade." Zhang Yongho patted Yi Fei Li's shoulder. "You too." Yi Fei Li smirked, showing his white teeth, smiling like a normal otaku. Anna shouted, "Open the liquor! Open the liquor! We're going to get drunk tonight." Bam! The bottle was opened. The smell of liquor filled the air. They cheered, drank, enjoying the joy of victory, releasing all the tension and anxiety that's been building up inside them for a long time. Outside, it started to rain. Space. The S.W. Divine Temple Interstellar Fortress. Deep inside the fortress, a research lab. A long staff glowing with flames. A pair of metal gauntlets that gave off a sharp aura. An unassuming pair of black boots. And a glittering gold ring. These 4 items came from the game of Eternal, the prizes for the Eternal Challenges champion. Right now, they were being controlled by various mechanical arms, undergoing all sorts of experiments. On a screen, the results of the experiments were being summarized. The final conclusion was shown. Using all of the planet's most advanced weapons to attack, unable to break through its defenses, since all knowledge is unable to solve the problem, initiating special procedure, connecting to the ancient ship, retrieving quantum data vault, discovered relevant data, currently retrieving the world's laws on the screen, streams of data flashed crazily, and only after a full 8 hours did they completely disappear. Data extraction complete. Based on the research subject structure and characteristics, determined to be the world's laws and power level mechanism in effect. Begin establishing top-secret scientific research project. Access level set to highest leader. Quantity 2. Based on the desired results of the project has been named. Chapter 306. The Capital Suburbs. The Mountaintop Mansion. "I've been hesitating for a long time, so I want to hear your opinion," Anna said. "Will it be dangerous?" Gu Shan asked. "I'm not sure, but it'll definitely be a long journey," Anna answered. "That's easy. There's so many of us. Even the game of Eternal lost to us. We'll all come with you," Gu Shan said. "What are we going to do?" Liao Xing muttered in a low voice. "We're a team after all." Yi Fei Li patted his shoulder. "No need," Anna glared at Liao Xing, then told Gu Shan. "This path, if any member of the Medici clan wants to go, they'll have to go alone. What exactly is the family inheritance that your father gave you?" Zhang Yongho asked with interest. "I'm not sure either," and his face was a bit confused. "I heard that only our first head of the clan had this inheritance. If that's the case, then it seems very hard," Yi Fei Li commented. "Isn't it good now? Why take the risk?" Liao Xing asked. "Go," Gu Shan said. Everyone looked at him. Gu Shan spoke. "The world will not return to how it was. The future is unknown. Only by becoming stronger will you be able to better deal with everything. I hope you'll succeed." He looked outside the window. The rain outside was getting heavier and heavier, without any signs of stopping. Anna's voice suddenly became hesitant and unreadable. "If it's inheritance, I might need something. What is it?" "Death God's relic." "Ah. Take it," Gu Shan said, took off the Death God's relic from his neck and put it around Anna's neck. Anna snuck a glance at him, only to see his confident expression without any hesitation. She couldn't help but feel warm. "What? You have Death God's relic?" Zhang Yongho shouted in shock. He spoke in disbelief. "This is the Holy Empire's royal family's treasure. How did it end up in your hands?" "That's because..." Anna covered Gu Shan's mouth as soon as she started. This isn't something you should know. Or do you want to fight me? Anna glared at Jang Young-ho. Her face was slightly red, and she was bluffing. Jang Young-ho looked at her and understood. That's right. It's not a noble style to pry into other people's privacy. It's better if I don't know about it, he said seriously. Anna heaved a sigh of relief. She looked deeply at Gu Qing-shan and said, Then I'll go. Go. Be careful and come back early. I will. The few of them strode out of the mountain villa and escorted Anna onto the blazing fire shuttle. The shuttle exploded with a roar and flew all the way to the south. All right, you guys rest up a bit. I'm going to take care of something, Gu Qing-shan told Jang Young-ho and the others before leaving. He braved the wind and rain as he walked down the mountain, finally stopping in a forest. This is freezing rain, Gu Qing-shan scowled. Impartial goddess, connect to the global weather satellites and check the weather. Understood, Sir Impartial Goddess replied. She quickly replied, The rain is spreading, currently covering 70% of the land, 80%, 90%, sir. It's raining all over the land. What about the temperature? There's a slight change, but the duration is too short. We need to keep watching. Gu Qing-shan shook her head and muttered. What will come? Will come a screen of light flashed. Gu Qing-shan disappeared from reality. The cultivation world. Demon Cloud's river. Riverside. The military tent. Gu Qing-shan noticed that he was still sitting on the cushion, as if he didn't leave at all. He silently waited for a while. The war god UI didn't react. Gu Qing-shan couldn't help but ask, System, where's a quest? No answer. All right, then I'll ask a normal question. How long can I stay here this time? Ting. The system replied. Once the user has completed the quest, they can return at any time. Gu Qing-shan asked. Then what about the quest? Silence again. Gu Qing-shan was speechless. Seems like I won't return. The Destiny Quest decisive battle, next, will immediately begin. Looking at the large glass container in the middle of the war god UI, it also didn't react. A Destiny Quest and a Thaumaturgy Quest both require certain conditions to trigger. It was only now that Gu Qing-shan relaxed and stretched his body. Ignoring them, Gu Qing-shan tapped his inventory bag and took out a jade bottle. He opened the bottle cap, turned it upside down, and poured the contents into his hand. HM, you're done? Gu Qing-shan raised his eyebrows and asked in surprise. This is a healing pill that senior brother Qin Shaolu made. Because of his heavy injuries, he's been eating it every day without stopping. He didn't think he'd finish it so quickly. Gu Qing-shan released his inner sight to check his body's meridians. His injuries are still quite heavy, showing signs of stagnation. He couldn't help but feel a bit anxious. 3 days later, the cultivation world will attack Shenwu world. During this time, 2 important quests will definitely be activated. While I'm heavily injured and unable to fight, Gu Qing-shan hesitated a bit, tapped his inventory bag, took out a communication talisman, and sent it away after saying a few words. A few moments later, the talisman didn't return. Qin Shaolu himself came. Junior brother, you used a full bottle of healing pills so quickly, I don't believe it. You must have taken my pills to please some female cultivator, didn't you? Before he even entered the tent, he could already hear Qin Shaolu's mocking voice. As the curtain opened, Qin Shaolu walked in. As he smiled at Gu Qing-shan, his expression suddenly changed. Without saying anything, Qin Shaolu stepped forward, grabbed Gu Qing-shan's hand, and infused spirit energy into her body. Gu Qing-shan let him check her body. How did you get so heavily injured? Qin Shaolu exclaimed. Gu Qing-shan answered, I wasn't careful and used too much force. No, pills alone won't be enough to cure you. I need to find Shifu right now. There's no need to trouble Shifu. What do you know? Your injuries are very dangerous. Shifu also knows medicine. Of course, many spirit beasts come to Shifu for help when they have trouble giving birth. You need Shifu to look at your injuries himself. That's... Qin Shaolu waved his hand, didn't wait for Gu Qing-shan to say anything, and hurriedly ran away. Gu Qing-shan could only wait. Not too long after, 100 Flowers Fairy and Qin Shaolu entered his tent together. Foundation Establishment Peak. She glanced at Gu Qing-shan, walked up a few steps, grabbed Gu Qingshan's hand and infused spirit energy into it. After a while, she snorted and scolded. "How did you end up like this?" "I practiced 7 stars, flowing dragon." Gu Qingshan told her the truth. He and Qin Shaolu once went to the sect's storeroom, which was filled with all kinds of scriptures, but most of them were martial arts and elemental spells, so it was very hard to find a sword scripture. After looking for a long time, he still couldn't find a sword scripture that caught his eye. The only one he found was 7 stars flowing dragon. At the time, Gu Qingshan had only just broken through to foundation establishment early stage, so she wasn't even qualified to touch 7 stars flowing dragon, so she put the sword scripture back. 100 Flowers Fairy was a bit surprised. How far are you? Have you seen a dragon yet?" Lightning Dragon. 100 Flowers Fairy's expression softened a bit, then smirked. "Not bad. You're not even 20 yet, and you're already able to perform Flowing Dragon. Of the 3,000 advanced sword cultivators, which one of them could reach my disciple's level?" Sure enough, it's still our Baihua sect that produces people. Sword chi needs to be condensed to the limit in order to form sword phantoms. Sword phantoms can break any spell. They're incredibly powerful, but at the beginning, they're like a wild horse, very hard to control. Only those who can tame sword phantoms and control them to accurately hit their target are qualified to be called a sword cultivator. This threshold is already very high, enough to filter out many sword cultivators. Advanced sword cultivators are those who can form sword phantoms and use them to perform 3 sets of sword scriptures without making any mistakes. This standard is even higher, and the difficulty is even higher. In the entire cultivation world, the number of sword cultivators who can reach this level is only about 3,000. But Gu Qingshan can already perform who knows how many sets of sword scriptures. And now he's even learned one of the 4 sword scriptures below Sword Saint, the publicly acknowledged hardest, 7 stars flowing dragon. Even with 100 Flowers Fairy's eyes as high as the sky, she still thinks Gu Qingshan isn't bad. Boil a bucket of hot water for him to soak in first. I'll go ask the old monk for a few things later, 100 Flowers Fairy said as she floated away. A few moments later, Gu Qingshan was soaking in the hot water. What kind of medicine do you think Shifu will bring back from Spirit Leaf Temple? Qin Shaolu curiously asked. How would I know? Gu Qingshan answered. He actually had a few guesses. Spirit Leaf Temple's strongest thaumaturgy, Diamond Unbreakable, but it's very easy to make mistakes in the process of cultivation, making it very dangerous. That's why Spirit Leaf Temple has a set of medicine specifically for healing heavy wounds. But it's said that this medicine is very rare, so Spirit Leaf Temple rarely gives it to outsiders. One year, Yao Guang sent out a genius martial cultivator, but his cultivation went berserk and damaged his foundation, so he had to beg Spirit Leaf Temple. They prepared 10 million low-grade spirit stones, and the sect master personally begged for a few days before Spirit Leaf Temple reluctantly gave them a set of medicine. After that, the monks kept complaining to everyone they met, complaining that they sold it too cheaply. While he was thinking, a few dozen jars flew in from outside the tent, neatly stacked next to the medicinal bath. 100 Flowers Fairy's voice came. 3 jars at a time, for times a day. You'll be fine in 2 days. Qin Shaolu, you stay on the side. Call me if there's anything, Qin Shaolu said. Saying so, 100 Flowers Fairy left. The 2 of them randomly picked up a jar and opened it. Inside was a set of medicine that's already been prepared. As long as it's poured into hot water, it'll take effect. Gu Qingshan looked at the jars on the ground. A total of 30 jars. It's done, junior brother. You'll be fine soon, Qin Shaolu happily said. I know, Gu Qingshan sighed. Why aren't you happy? Qin Shaolu was a bit confused. Of course I'm happy, but Shifu brought so many at once. I'm afraid some people are going to cry, Gu Qingshan replied. Shifu has plenty of spirit stones. It's fine, a total of 30 sets of medicine. With Shifu's personality, I don't think she'll give them that many spirit stones. That's true. Shifu personally went to tell them. That's already giving them enough face, Qin Shaolu agreed. Gu Qingshan was defeated, then remembered something and asked, Does our sect have any Qi training scriptures? We do. When Shifu established our sect, she spent a lot of effort to collect several thousand basic scriptures in the world. That's great. Can I have one? Of course, but I don't have one with me. Wait for me. I'll go get one from the warp gate. Thank you very much, second brother. We're brothers. No need to be so polite saying so. Qin Shaolu walked out. Gu Qingshan silently sighed in relief. Luckily, our sect has these. Otherwise, if I have to collect them one by one, I don't know how long it'll take. For the sake of helping humans in reality learn how to use spirit energy, he's prepared to put in some effort. A few moments later, Qin Shaolu came back. He threw a thick white brick to Gu Qingshan. What's this? A brick? Gu Qingshan caught the brick and was surprised. Didn't you want Qi training scriptures? These are all here. More than 2,000 of them. They're all in this brick? What brick? This is a large jade tag. Chapter 307. Starting from a few 100,000 words, the comment section often had comments such as, the book is going to collapse, the settings are unreasonable, the writing is too lousy, only elementary school students would read it, this book has completely collapsed, and so on. Every few tens of thousands of words, there would be a type of comment that kept flooding the screen. Most of them were, this book is poisonous, don't read it anymore, highly toxic, discarded, brainless idiot. I had always maintained an indifferent attitude towards this because this was not a normal plot discussion. Occasionally, I would delete comments that were too impactful or involved character issues. Until recently, I often saw readers replying to these comments, putting in a lot of effort to refute the book. I suddenly felt that I had not done enough. Here, I have to make a self-reflection to everyone. These things are all because I did not pay attention to them, which affected everyone's reading of the book. I'm very sorry. I also need to reflect on my own writing attitude. Next, I will write and create with a more serious and responsible attitude. Even if I really collapse one day, before that, I will write with all my might, seriously and desperately, so that I will not let down my friends who chase after my book. This book will not be left unfinished. Even if there is only one reader left in the end, I will definitely finish this book for you. Chapter 308. After a lot of persuasion from Gu Qingshan, Qin Shaolu reluctantly gave up on this title. Gu Qingshan finally sighed in relief. After that, he focused all of his attention on healing his wounds, occasionally going out for a walk. When cultivators from the sect saw him, they all sincerely respected him and came up to talk to him, making quite a few new friends for Gu Qingshan. After 2 days, whether it's the West Mountain Four Swords, the 2 Rejuvenation Realm female cultivators of Luo Xia sect, or even a few other geniuses of the younger generation, they all became familiar with him. On the afternoon of the 3rd day, Gu Qingshan once again got up from his medicine bath, releasing his inner sight to carefully check his body. After a while, he smiled. My body is finally healed. Almost at that exact moment, a flame flew into the tent from outside and landed in front of him. As Gu Qingshan took the communication talisman, 100 Flowers Fairy's voice came from it. Come to the central tent. We're going to assign the mission. After dressing up, Gu Qingshan left the tent. The central tent. 100 Flowers Fairy, Xianyuan Tianzuan, and the great monk of sorrow sat at the head of the table. Below them, a fully armored general had just received his orders, stood up, saluted, and left. Gu Qingshan then walked in. How is it? Are your wounds healed? The great monk of sorrow asked first. I'm fine. Thank you for the saint elixirs. Gu Qingshan thanked him. Amit Ba. As long as you're healed, my elixirs weren't wasted. The great monk of sorrow's expression wasn't so good. As if remembering something, his mouth couldn't help but twitch a bit. Even as a saint, his voice was trembling a bit as he said that. That's understandable. After all, so many precious elixirs that can't be bought with money were taken away. Any normal person would have been heartbroken. 100 Flowers Fairy nonchalantly looked away. Gu Qingshan also didn't say anything. Forget it. Since you've already reaped the benefits, don't rub salt into other people's wounds. Xianyuan Tianzuan changed the topic. We're about to attack Shenwu World, so we're currently arranging the general's tasks. I called you here because I wanted to hear your thoughts and make a decision. Gu Qingshan cupped her fists and said, "I am willing to lead the army." This was his old profession in his previous life. It wasn't too difficult to pick it up again in this life. Although his cultivation was still not high, he still had the ability to command troops and fight in battle. Now that the cultivators of the various sects owed him a favor, there shouldn't be too much of a hindrance in commanding them. The only thing he was worried about was Shenwu World. This was a whole new world. In the past life, there was no such thing as a human counterattack, and no one managed to reach Shenwu World. Gu Qingshan was only sent to Shenwu World by Gongsun Ji after her rebirth, stayed there for a short while before escaping. In such a short period of time, he couldn't understand what kind of world this was. However, it was this kind of unknown challenge that made people even more nervous and excited. Gu Qingshan felt that he had already prepared himself. This will be the battle where he regains his position as a war commander. The three saints looked at each other, but didn't say anything. 100 Flowers Fairy, on the other hand, was smiling as she looked at her disciple, extremely satisfied. Many newly promoted generals would rather complete difficult missions on their own than lead troops, because leading troops means that their responsibility is the highest. Every soldier's life and death depends on the generals. Not only that, they also have to plan how to advance, retreat, attack and defend, and complete the mission. If something happens to other troops, they have to quickly decide whether to provide cover or retreat to report the situation. Other than that, if they run into a monster that the soldiers can't deal with, they either have to personally lead the troops or quickly come up with a countermeasure. Otherwise, they can't escape the crime of insufficient response and be punished by military law. That's why it's easy to get the title of general, but difficult to take on the role of general. Xianyuan Tianzuan thought for a bit, then organized his words. Although you've done a great deed, proving that you have a good strategy, but you're not even 20 yet, if you lead troops, it'll be hard to convince the masses the saints are right. Then I can lead less troops for now, Gu Qingshan agreed. He then thought of even more benefits of leading troops. The war god Yui's destiny quest this time won't be too easy. If he has his own troops, he can borrow the strength of others to do a lot of things. No matter how hard the mission is, having hundreds or even thousands of cultivators helping him is much easier than trying to figure it out by himself. While he was thinking, the great monk of sorrow spoke up. Ba, this monk feels that young benefactor Gu is still too young. It's better to first train and get familiar with what it means to be a general, then talk about leading troops. Hearing both saints say that, Gu Qingshan couldn't help but feel a bit disappointed. I'm just a bit immature. I've been through who knows how many battles. Can't you give me a chance to try? He looked at 100 Flowers Fairy and said, I can only lead a squad of 10. I don't need any more than that. 100 Flowers Fairy lightly shook her head. Without experience, a squad of 10 won't be easy to lead. It's better to get used to it first. That was the final decision. 100 Flowers Fairy looked at her disciple and sent her voice. What they say makes sense. I also think so. Shenwu World situation isn't clear. It's safer for you to go alone. Once you familiarize yourself with the situation, I'll give you more troops. All right, Shifu cares about me. I can't just not give her any face. Not to mention, anyone who dares to make a scene in front of the three saints is courting death. Gu Qingshan could only clasp her fist. Understood. Seeing that he understood, the three saints nodded. Very well. You may leave. We'll discuss this for a bit. Your mission will be given to you when the time comes. Yes, sir. Gu Qingshan left the central tent. That night, the military camp became busy. An air of killing intent enveloped the entire camp. Tomorrow will be the day they officially enter Shenwu World, so everyone was tense. At night, the three Ding Yuan generals Gongsun Ji, Ming Hui Monk, and Ning Yuechan each led a squad to enter Shenwu World. They will occupy a place in the Sea of Demons, set up a formation, and establish a human camp, ready to receive the main army that will arrive tomorrow. Gu Qingshan was busy painting the airship white to hide the word Qing. They'll be used tomorrow. If in the middle of a fierce battle, someone sees two airships flying side by side with the words Qing and Lu written on them, Gu Qingshan doesn't know what the cultivators will think. If someone laughs so much that they can't fight and accidentally loses their life on the battlefield, it won't be anyone's fault. A flare came. Gu Qingshan received it and heard Ning Yuechan's words. I've already left. Shunwu world is extremely dangerous. If you need anything, just send me a message. I'll come and save you. Gu Qingshan held the communication talisman with a complicated expression. TCH, this girl is being kind, but why do I feel like something's wrong? Gu Qingshan shook her head, replied, You also need to be careful, then put the talisman away. He sped up and completely erased the green Qing character. Then, he used red paint to write a big Shan character. Taking a few steps back to take a closer look, he saw that the red word was written right in the middle of the airship. It was a great success. Chapter 309. At this time, another flame talisman came. This talisman carried an unstoppable aura. This is the aura of a saint. No one can imitate it, specifically used to issue high-level military orders. Gu Qingshan's expression turned serious. This must be the war mission assigned to him. He received the talisman in his hand and infused it with spirit energy. Xianyuan Tianzuan's voice came. UG General Gu Qingshan, I am ordered to patrol the front lines, as well as investigate the front lines. Patrol the front lines? Investigate the front lines? Gu Qingshan fell into thought. Every front line has its own generals, as well as various commanders and soldiers, as well as a corresponding patrol officer. As for investigating the front lines, they all have their own scouts, and they've all been properly arranged. I don't think I have anything to do. Then what exactly does this mission want me to do? While Gu Qingshan was full of questions, another talisman came. He received it and infused it with spirit energy. 100 Flowers Fairy's voice came from the talisman. I didn't care about you last time, but this time, you need to be careful and find a safe place to hide. Gu Qingshan's aura dropped. He couldn't help but feel speechless. Shifu, you're being too protective of me. Could it be because you didn't take care of your disciple during the last campaign, causing him to be bullied, so you feel bad about it? But you don't need to protect me this well. Gu Qingshan thought for a bit, then muttered, Something's not right. It's not that the order was wrong. It's that the entire situation isn't right. 100 Flowers Fairy wouldn't purposely protect her disciple just because her disciple was humiliated a bit. With her personality, she would rather her disciple go through all sorts of hardships. But why? Why are you so protective of me? While Gu Qingshan was thinking, another talisman came and landed next to his hand. Looking down, it was still 100 Flowers Fairy's communication talisman. As he held the talisman in his hand, he infused it with spirit energy. 100 Flowers Fairy's voice came from the talisman. I thought about it, and I still have to tell you the truth, lest you run around in a daze. It's not worth it if you lose your life. That Shunwu world, Xianyuan, Sorrow, and I had all sneaked into it and carefully investigated it. Based on the current situation, this world is very strange. Sorrow and I both have a bad feeling about this. Forget it, I'll tell you in person. Come here. Gu Qingshan immediately walked out. The words of the 100 Flowers Fairy cast a shadow over his heart. In the central tent, the other two sages were not there. Only the 100 Flowers Fairy was sitting there peacefully. She was silently observing a floating clay pot. Gu Qingshan took a closer look and recognized that it was the treasure of formless heavenly demon Holy King. If it wasn't for 100 Flowers Fairy's godly skill ground shrink, the outcome of the battle would have been very different. Qingshan, seeing him come, the 100 Flowers Fairy smiled. Take a guess. What exactly is this thing used for? Gu Qingshan tried asking. To summon the Tianma? No, its main function is to connect two worlds, creating a crack in one world that connects to the Tianma world, the 100 Flowers Fairy answered. Then wouldn't the Tianma world be able to use this treasure to go on a war? Gu Qingshan asked. It's not that powerful. It can only create a one-way passage. The 100 Flowers Fairy regretfully shook her head. This thing is completely useless to us. She put the clay pot away and said, All right, let's talk about your appointment. Shifu, this disciple is willing to lead troops. Gu Qingshan spoke in a low voice. At first, I also wanted you to lead troops, but now that I think about it, I'll pass. Why not? The 100 Flowers Fairy calmly looked at him and said, I have a few signs that I'm about to die. A few divinations have confirmed it. What? How is that possible? Gu Shan exclaimed in shock. The 100 Flowers Fairy is the strongest cultivator of humanity. How could she have a premonition that she's about to die? But as powerful as she is, it's normal for people like her to have a vague understanding of a lot of things, and they're usually very accurate. Among the three of us Sainted Realm cultivators, my spirit sense is the strongest, so I was able to sense it ahead of time. I hid it from the two of them, paid a bit of a price to perform a few divinations, then used an ancient divination technique to try it out a few times. But the results were all correct. Gu Shan looked at the 100 Flowers Fairy in shock, unable to accept this news. The 100 Flowers Fairy looked at him and said, That's why you have to be careful. After you arrive at Shenwu World, find a safe place to stroll around. If you run into anything strange, quickly run away. Your eldest brother is a demon. Qin Xiaolu hasn't awakened yet. Xiao is still young. If I'm not here, Bai Hua sect will have to rely on you. So you have to take care of yourself. She took out a fragrance bag and gave it to Gu Shan. All of the sect's inheritances are in here, as well as the cultivation scriptures and pills that you and your brothers will need to advance in the future. If I'm not here, you have to continue the flame and lead them to live on. Gu Shan looked at the fragrance bag, only to see that it was woven from 7 colored threads, completely normal and unassuming. Sure, Fu, you told me to run away whenever I run into trouble, so you should run away as well. Don't go to Shenwu World, Gu Shan said. The 100 Flowers Fairy smiled and said, Under normal circumstances, it doesn't matter how much I slack off, but there are times when I have to stand at the front. Why? There are some things that if I run away, you won't be able to. Her words were a bit confusing, but Gu Shan completely understood. You don't need to worry about me. Heavens will always leave a sliver of hope for survival. Not everyone will die. Shifu is also someone who cherishes her life, so you'll make it through this. After saying so, the 100 Flowers Fairy had Gu Shan refine the fragrance bag in front of her. Only then did she relax. I'll tell you one last secret. Don't tell anyone else. Yes, the 100 Flowers Fairy said. There's a problem with that world. There's a problem? Gu Shan was a bit surprised. That's right, it doesn't seem to be under the demon's control. The 100 Flowers Fairy was a bit confused. There are so many demons there that even I'm afraid of them, but they're all monsters without a clear mind. Although they're powerful, there aren't any high-ranking commander-type demons. In short, this is a strange world, and I'm still investigating it. Hearing that, Gu Shan fell back in her memories. When he first entered Shenwu World, the first thing he saw was a rain of fire. Rain after rain of fire rained down from the sky, extremely powerful. Fortunately, when Gu Shan teleported there, he was quite a bit away from where the rain of fire was. At the time, he was busy fighting his way out of the encirclement, so he only took a glance at this magnificent sight and didn't think too much about it. Now that he thought about it, this really is a sight he's never seen before. I'll keep that in mind. Gu Shan spoke in a low voice. Where's your sword? The 100 Flowers Fairy suddenly asked. It's here. As Gu Shan took out the earth sword, she was a bit confused. Let me take a look. Yes, if anyone else had asked Gu Shan to take a look at his sword, Gu Shan would have already gone on a rampage and killed them. But if Shifu wants it, that's a completely different story. The 100 Flowers Fairy is the person he trusts the most in the cultivation world. Gu Shan tossed the earth sword to her. The 100 Flowers Fairy caught the sword, lightly touched it with a nostalgic look on her face. Chapter 3:10. 100 Flowers Fairy threw the sword back as her expression returned to normal. She said, I've told Gong Sunji that when you break through to Golden Core, go find him. He'll set up various formations to protect you until you've finished breaking through. She then said, You have to stay alive. Do you hear me? Gu Shan silently nodded. Sure, Fu. You have to stay alive as well, he said. Don't worry, I won't die that easily. 100 Flowers Fairy smiled. Although she was smiling, her eyes were full of worry and confusion. After so long, this was the first time Gu Shan saw 100 Flowers Fairy like this. A few moments later, Gu Shan returned to his tent. As soon as he sat down, he heard countless cultivators in the camp shouting at the same time, "Farewell, Saint." He hurriedly rushed out and looked up at the sky. In the sky, the three saints were flying away. They were heading towards the space vortex behind Demon Cloud's river that leads to Shenwu World. From afar, Gu Shan could only see 100 Flowers Fairies back. The three saints were flying so fast that he couldn't even see their backs anymore. Gu Shan silently stood there for a while before returning to his tent. Suddenly, the War God UI lit up. A streak of light flashed across the War God UI, turning into lines of blood-red text in the middle. Detected that the user has triggered a unique storyline. Current conditions are in line with activation rules. Activating Destiny Quest. The Destiny Quest had finally begun. Gu Shan quickly looked down. Destiny Quest. Decisive Battle 2. To break the chains of fate and change the direction of the world, user Gu Shan has entered the Destiny Quest. Quest description. The cultivation world is about to invade Shenwu World. What will follow is an epic war of epic proportions. But our quest has nothing to do with slaying demons. Quest objective. Why hasn't Shenwu World been completely taken over by the demons? Why did the cultivation world's humans discover its existence? Please seek the truth of the world. This will be an extremely difficult and dangerous battle. To ensure that players don't die prematurely, the quest reward, War God title, has been given out in advance. If the quest fails, the reward will be withdrawn, and the player will not be able to increase his cultivation for 3 years. After reading the mission description, Gu Shan was stunned. Shenwu World wasn't completely taken over by the demons. This sentence was already a truth that could move one's countenance. Perhaps that was why Gongsun Ji and Ning Yuechan were able to discover it. However, the mission required him to continue exploring deeper secrets on this basis. Gu Shan only felt that she was surrounded by a huge mystery, and for a moment, she couldn't find a direction. What should I do? While he was silently thinking, 2 more notifications appeared on the War God UI. This is a completely new world. The War God system can't predict what will happen. Please be fully prepared, hold your weapon tight, and welcome the unpredictable future. After that, another streak of light appeared on the War God UI. The second streak of light. The War God UI's War God Thaumaturgy lit up. The crystal ball that had been silent all this time also started to let out various colored lights. Gu Shan was shocked. Then a few more lines of text appeared in the middle of the War God UI. Golden Core Thaumaturgy Quest has officially begun. The more quests you complete within 7 days, the more thaumaturgy chances you will receive. Reminder 1. With the help of the Thaumaturgy Quest, the War God system will do its best to help you explore this unknown world. Reminder 2. The unique power inside the crystal ball will be a great helper for you. The system can actually be so flexible. Gu Shan fell into thought. The Destiny Quest is like an official statement, while the Thaumaturgy Quest is like a private reminder. The War God system seems to be using the Thaumaturgy Quest to help me in a roundabout way. Could it be that the system sensed something unusual? Gu Shan looked at the Thaumaturgy Quest description again. This time, the Thaumaturgy Quest isn't a single quest, but a series of quests. I have to complete each quest as fast as possible within 7 days. I can already predict that the quests will become more and more difficult to complete. 7 days. In other words, I have to start right now. Gu Shan quickly looked at the crystal ball in the middle of the War God UI. This crystal ball is the container that stores the unique power inside. A faint mist appeared inside the crystal ball. As he looked over, a few lines of glowing text appeared on the surface of the crystal ball. The first quest has appeared. Quest name. Prove your worth. Quest description. The system has sensed some sort of unique spying, but please be assured, this spying has no ill intentions and isn't targeting you alone. But from the moment you enter that world, your every action will be under the watchful eye. Please display your talents as much as you can. Only with a dazzling performance will you be qualified to complete this quest. Quest objective. Display your abilities in Shenwu World until you pick up a weapon. Quest reward. Telepathy, description. If you were trash, no one would give you a second glance. Display my talents? Pick up a weapon? Gu Qing Shan didn't understand. The quest reward is telepathy. That's all there is to it. There's no other explanation. What kind of damn quest is this? How does picking up a weapon have anything to do with fighting? And it has to be dazzling enough. Gu Qing Shan has never seen such a strange quest before. The Destiny quest requires me to investigate the truth of the world, followed by the thaumaturgy quest. Could it be that the system is using these two quests to hint something to me? Gu Qing Shan looked at the description on the UI and fell into deep thought. Outside the tent, various noises could be heard. The sound of hurried footsteps, the sound of large machines crashing to the ground, the sound of cultivators talking. The generals were loudly calling for their subordinates to gather. Within the clamor, there was a sense of urgency as if a storm was brewing. The sound of airships flying through the air could be heard again and again. That's a squad heading out. Qin Xiaolu ran in and said goodbye to him. Qin Xiaolu's mission is very important. After all, he's well-versed in all 6 arts, so the front lines will need him in every aspect. The only advantage he has over the other cultivators is that he doesn't need to charge into battle. Very quickly, after the brothers finished talking, Qin Xiaolu piloted his airship and followed his squad, while Gu Qing Shan was still in his tent. He has no soldiers, no superiors, and no specific mission. No matter what he wants to do, no one will stop him. He can even hide at the back. There are no restrictions, no punishments. Since he's already received orders from the 3 saints, he can do as he pleases. Shenwu world is too dangerous. Even a saint like 100 Flowers Fairy could die in this war. 100 Flowers Fairy only hopes that he can stay alive and continue by Hua Sek's legacy. Gu Qing Shan closed his eyes and stayed silent for a while. Then a mocking smirk appeared on his face. Inside the tent, he suddenly muttered to himself, "How pitiful! I'm not even afraid of an ultimate weapon like the final demon lord. And now I'm hiding at the back of a war. I'm the sword saint Gu Qing Shan. I haven't been on the battlefield for a very long time." He tapped his inventory bag. A full set of light golden general armor flew out and quickly attached itself to his body. Die? No one will die. Shifu won't, and I won't either, as long as I'm on the battlefield, he muttered. Putting on the silver mask, he grabbed the earth sword from the void of space and left. Gu Qing Shan quickly left. Very quickly, the airship took off, went past Demon Cloud's river, and headed straight for the space vortex. Chapter 311. Rain of Fire. The sky was filled with fire, continuously striking the ground far away. The ground was being melted and pierced by the rain of fire, occasionally trembling. The demons that couldn't escape in time didn't even leave a speck of dust in the rain of fire. The demons were chased away by the rain of fire. Unlike the demons of the cultivation world, the demons here didn't have any killing intent. Instead, they were constantly on guard, occasionally looking up at the sky. This had become their instinct. On the plains, a human formation, the demons had temporarily retreated. The cultivators finally had a short break. At this point, the defensive formation opened up a gap. The exhausted cultivators were ready for battle. A golden-armored cultivator with a silver mask strode in. His attire was that of a UG general. Not a special demon, but one of their own. Everyone sighed in relief. General rank cultivators all have a special portable formation on their waist badge, allowing them to bypass large-scale defensive formations and directly enter any military camp. "General, please show me your badge." A cultivator came forward. The general took out a badge and infused it with spirit energy. The badge emitted bursts of spiritual light, forming a few large words in the air. UG General Gu Qing Shan. As soon as these words appeared, all the cultivators who noticed this stood up regardless of how tired they were and clasped their fists. "Greetings, General Gu." This was a truly respectable person, someone who single-handedly decided the outcome of an entire decisive battle. Gu Qing Shan nodded in greeting. He looked around the military camp. There were a few formation users. The main fighting cultivators were elemental cultivators. There were also martial artists, but they were all wounded. There weren't too many people here. This was a small temporary military camp. Where's the commander in charge of you all? Gu Qingshan asked. He led a team out to save people, a cultivator answered. I'll rest first, Gu Qingshan said. Please do as you wish, the cultivators replied. Gu Qingshan didn't say anything else, found a clean place to sit down, and began to meditate. After this rest, he planned to rush to Gong Sunji's camp as soon as possible without stopping. Under the protection of Gong Sunji's array formation, he would be able to advance to the Golden Core realm and deal with the war with greater strength. An hour later, he stood up and strode to the west side of the camp, silently looking out. The two cultivators in charge of guarding this place asked curiously, General Gu, what are you looking at? He's here, Gu Qingshan said. The two cultivators turned their heads to look. In the distance outside the camp, billowing smoke was approaching. A cultivator appeared. He was wearing the armor of a Zhao Wu chaplain, one hand covering the bloody hole in his stomach, the other carrying his unconscious comrade as he rushed over. Behind him, the demons chased after him like a tide. It's Li Zhaowu, he's injured. The demons are coming. Get ready. The two cultivators on guard hurriedly shouted. The entire camp immediately began to move. The cultivators panicked and picked up their weapons, but they didn't know how to help. The camp's commander was still outside. We'll go first, a few martial cultivators said. No, we'll fight the demons first, create a chance, then you can go, the elemental cultivator said. Just as they were arguing, they heard a voice that suppressed all the panic. All right, I'm here. There's no need to argue. Listen to my orders. Everyone went silent. The one who spoke was the golden-armored Gu Qingshan. He was the UG general. His military rank was the highest. That's right. Since the highest commander wasn't here, the highest-ranking officer should be the one to give the orders in this emergency. Everyone stopped and looked at him. Gu Qingshan quickly ordered, Abandon all offensive formations. Yes, sir. The cultivator in charge of the camp's formations hesitated a bit, then gritted his teeth and accepted. Disobeying orders at a time like this would be punished by military law with beheading. Use all your power to activate the defensive formations. Formation users, focus on protecting the formations. Yes, sir. Elemental cultivators, line up along the formations, the front and back. Follow the orders of the elemental cultivator commander and prepare your spells. I don't need to explain this. Yes, sir. Martial cultivators, heed my orders when I raise my sword. All of you go out and cover your commander's return. Yes, sir. The cultivators quickly prepared themselves, but there was still a question in their minds. He said that when he raises his sword, the martial cultivators are to save them. But there are so many demons. What method is he going to use to save their commander with the least amount of losses? The cultivators' gazes were locked onto Gu Qingshan, waiting to see what he would do. But Gu Qingshan only left an afterimage where he stood and disappeared from their sight. Look, he's coming, someone called out. The cultivators all turned to look. A faint golden light quickly flew across the barren wasteland, abruptly crashing into the horde of demons. Die for me, he shouted like a thunderclap as his entire body fused with the sword in his hand, forming a large crescent moon-white sword phantom. As the arc of the sword phantom swept through, a large number of demons were sliced into mincemeat, scattering with the wind. Dozens of demons were cut in half at the waist, screaming in pain before they died. Gu Qingshan reappeared. He stood in the middle of the horde of demons, letting a demon's sharp claws hit him. Clang! There was a crisp sound of impact. The golden armor was unharmed. Gu Qingshan swung his sword and sliced the demon in half. At this point, he had already gone past the wounded Zhao Wu chaplain. He raised his sword. In the military camp, the adepts watched with their blood boiling. When the martial adepts saw the signal, they roared and leaped out, quickly flying towards their own commanders. Gu Qingshan had set his title as UG General. He charged towards the hundreds of thousands of demons. The sword let out a hissing sound in the air, slicing the air and the demons into pieces. Not a single one of them was a match for him. All of a sudden, a monster as tall as 5 people jumped out of the crowd, screaming as it charged towards Gu Qingshan. Wherever it went, the ground trembled, the demons all moved away. This was a giant demon that was as strong as a golden core realm cultivator. "I've been waiting for you for so long," Gu Qing Shan spoke in a low voice. Divine skill, ground shrink. A second later, he was already standing on the demon's shoulder, putting his hand on the demon's neck. Stiffen activated. The giant demon's body started to twitch. Gu Qing Shan held the earth sword, lightly pressed it against the demon's soft throat, and pulled. A slash of 60,000 tons. The giant demon's head flew up into the air, blood spurting out from its neck like a fountain. The headless body fell to the ground. Gu Qing Shan jumped down from the demon's body, raised his sword, and slashed at the horde of demons. Secret art, water flow, severance. Dong 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 dong. Sharp sword phantoms flew into the horde of demons, exploding and raining blood all over the place. Gu Qing Shan swung his sword again, charging into the horde of demons. Behind him, the martial cultivators had already saved their commander and were retreating. Due to Gu Qing Shan's interference, the demons that were chasing after them had already distanced themselves from the martial cultivators. The elemental cultivators who were already prepared for this were bombarded with spells one after another, smashing them to pieces. While Gu Qing Shan slaughtered his way through the horde of demons, he calmly turned around and headed back to the human camp. The demons were cowering behind him, howling in pain from the elemental spells that came at them. In front of them was the defensive array formation of the human race. This was a very hard bone to chew. Not to mention, there was still this god of death sword cultivator in front of them. In the end, the demons could only reluctantly retreat in panic. It was now that Gu Qing Shan relaxed a bit and looked at the war god UI. Just now, the UI had been glowing a bit. "You've perfectly performed 3 instant kills. All of them were enemies with a higher cultivation than yourself. You've completed 3 instant kills while being weaker than yourself. Hitman title will soon be unlocked. This title is a rare title. Unlocking it requires 50 soul points." Reading these notifications, Gu Qing Shan was a bit surprised. The last time she entered the cultivation world, she killed Lung Tian Xing's spirit beast demon butterfly with a single strike, then instantly killed the flame cloud chasing Sky Crane. At the time, there was a notification saying that by completing 3 instant kills while being weaker than yourself, the corresponding title will be unlocked. Chapter 312. Title skills are the war god UI's strongest support in battle. Up until now, every title skill has been very powerful. Gu Qing Shan has always liked the UG General title very much. Without hesitation, Gu Qing Shan decided to unlock it. Even if it costs 50 soul points, he still has to unlock it. After coming to Shinwu World, he's been through a lot of intense battles, so he's accumulated quite a bit of soul points. He looked at his soul points. "Because I've killed demons above my realm many times, my soul points has once again surpassed the limit of 40. Spend soul points to unlock the title skill," he said. "You've spent 50 soul points. Title unlocked. Title, Hitman. Description, you only used 1 move to kill an enemy stronger than you. Equipping this title grants you the exclusive skill, Harvest, Intermediate. Harvest, Intermediate, whenever you kill an enemy in 1 strike, you'll return 60% of the spirit energy you used. Note, after 5 more instant kills, you'll unlock the advanced version of this rare title." Gu Qing Shan's eyes lit up. This is a skill made for war. In the middle of a fierce battle, it can greatly reduce a cultivator's spirit energy consumption. 5 instant kills against a stronger opponent. He muttered, "Only able to kill an enemy stronger than yourself. And it has to be a 1-hit kill. This requirement is actually quite harsh. I really want to know what the effects of the advanced version of the Hitman title will be." Gu Qing Shan sighed and slowly walked back to the camp. The cultivators all looked at him with respect and clapped. "Long live the general!" They all cheered. Cutting off the pursuers by himself, this doesn't just require strength. If there were any rejuvenation realm demons on the other side, doing this would be suicide. Gu Shan's value lies in being able to tell at a glance that there weren't any rejuvenation realm demons among the pursuers, as well as believing in his own judgment and risking his life to stand there to stop the demons. This is his confidence in his own eyesight. Without courage, eyesight, and strength, he wouldn't be able to do this. Gu Shan walked up, looking at the Zhao Wu chaplain who was giving first aid. "What's the situation?" "Thank you, General," the Zhao Wu chaplain replied. "I'm fine, but this person seems to be a bit delirious." "Who is this?" "A scout in charge of scouting the front lines." Gu Shan looked at that person. That person was in a coma, and his face was filled with horror. "Why did you suddenly faint? Did you encounter a heavenly demon?" he asked. "No." Zhao Wu chaplain had a strange expression on his face. He's an expert with the spear. The last time he went out to investigate, he found a spear in a desolate and remote area. And then? Gu Shan's heart tightened inexplicably. Then, out of curiosity, he picked up the spear and used it a few times before fainting, Zhao Wu chaplain said. Gu Shan fell into deep thought. His divine ability mission required him to find and pick up a weapon. But now, someone from the Vanguard army had already picked up the weapon, and this was the outcome. What was going on? Did anyone else pick up any weapons? Not at the moment. How strong is this person? He's our best scout. So that's why, keep an eye on him. If there's anything, report to me immediately. Saying so, Gu Shan walked out of the camp. "General, you're leaving just like that?" Zhao Wu chaplain was surprised. "I've rested enough. I'll continue with my mission now," Gu Shan answered. The cultivators then realized, so the general was only passing by and still had his own mission to carry out. Everyone silently clasped their fists. Gu Shan lightly clasped his fist, then turned to leave. General Sun Mo's camp is still quite a bit away from here, so I'll have to hurry. After walking for another half a day, Gu Shan tapped his inventory bag, took out a map, and checked his route again. Suddenly, his gaze fell on a certain place on the map. What a coincidence, since it's on the way. I might as well take a look. His figure flashed, and Gu Shan disappeared. At dusk, he arrived at another camp. Knowing he was here, Lung Tianxing quickly came out to greet him. "Ah, you're already a rejuvenation realm cultivator?" Gu Shan was surprised. "That's right. I suffered a lot during the tribulation. Almost died." Lung Tianxing smiled bitterly. "What happened?" Gu Shan asked. At the very last moment of the tribulation, 5 bolts of fire divine lightning appeared at once. They're specifically used to counter my water magic, throwing me into confusion, but you still succeeded in the end. How lucky. Just thinking about it makes me break out in cold sweat. The two of them talked as they walked, all the way to Lung Tianxing's tent. "General Lung, how does it feel to lead a camp?" Gu Shan jokingly asked. Thanks to you, I was able to carry out that spirit beast mission with me," Lung Tianxing replied. "What's your order?" Gu Shan asked. "Build a camp here, clear out the demons, set up various large-scale formations. Seems like they're preparing to take over the territory and fight a long war." "That's right, because we found a very rich mineral deposit." "Mineral deposit? What kind of mineral deposit?" Lung Tianxing only mentioned a few of them. "They're all good stuff for smithing." Gu Shan thought about it. "That's right. This world is very, very big. The area we've explored is still very small, but we've already found so much. Everyone's very excited," Lung Tianxing said. "What's your mission?" he then asked Gu Shan. Gu Shan smiled bitterly, thought about it, but couldn't tell him the embarrassing mission. He could only say, "HM, slaying demons, kill as many high-ranking demons as possible. You're a sword cultivator. This mission is suitable for you," Lung Tianxing nodded, then said, "We've caught a few golden core realm demons. Just finished studying their demonic power composition. We haven't dealt with them yet. I'm not sure if killing them will count as your mission." Gu Shan was a bit surprised, then happily said, "It counts, of course it counts." "Very well, I'll ask the people below how many are left." Saying so, Lung Tianxing left. Not too long after, Lung Tianxing came to greet him. The two of them came to a small building in a secluded corner of the camp. 3 demons were lying on the ground, tightly bound by the beast trapping chains. They were desperately struggling, constantly trying to get rid of their restraints. Gu Shan checked them a bit and found that all three of them were Golden Core Realm early stage. How did you catch them? Gu Shan asked. We sent 10 spell cultivators, 10 martial cultivators, 5 formation users, 2 sword cultivators, Lung Tian Xing answered. TCH, having people on your side sure makes things easier, Gu Shan said enviously. Can we kill them? He turned to ask Lung Tian Xing. Of course. A few cultivators wanted to find out the secret of how they produce demonic qi, but failed, so they've been left here. We didn't have time to kill them. Thank you. Gu Shan walked up, swung his sword 3 times, and killed the 3 demons. He pretended to chop off the demons' claws as proof of his military exploits. A line of glowing text appeared on the War God UI. You've perfectly performed 3 instant kills. All of them were enemies with a higher cultivation than yourself. Please keep up the good work. Complete 5 times of killing stronger enemies to unlock the corresponding title. Only 2 more to unlock the rare high-tier title. Gu Shan turned to look at Lung Tian Xing. Lung Tian Xing's eyes were sharp. As soon as he saw him like that, he understood and asked, 3 isn't enough? Not enough. How many more are you missing? 2 more. Lung Tian Xing went out, called 2 cultivators in, and gave them his orders. It's still the same people from last time. You guys go out again. His voice came from outside. Gu Shan sighed, envied again. This is the advantage of having people on your side. You only need to say a word and they'll do it. You don't even need to do it yourself. Chapter 313. A few hours later, the 2 demons were brought back by a few dozen Golden Core Realm cultivators. Gu Shan swung his sword and completed the title Unlock quest. You've perfectly performed 5 instant kills. All of them were enemies with a higher realm than yourself. You've completed 5 instant kills against a stronger opponent. The corresponding title will be unlocked. To unlock this rare, top-tier title, you need to pay 100 soul points. I'll pay. You spent 100 soul points, title skill unlocked. Remaining soul points title. Ace Assassin. Assassin title has been overwritten. Description: you used a single strike to kill an opponent stronger than yourself. Equipping this title grants you the skill Harvest Advanced. Harvest Advanced. Whenever you kill an opponent in one strike, the spirit energy used for that strike will be fully replenished. Seeing this title, Gu Shan was very happy. Although this isn't a divine skill, in a large-scale war, it might be even more useful than a divine skill. Now it's time to focus on breaking through to Golden Core Realm. Thank you. You've helped me a lot this time. He patted Lung Tian Xing's shoulder. Lung Tian Xing waved his hand, saying, We're brothers. This is nothing. Then I'll be leaving first. You're not going to stay for a while? HM, the quest is a bit urgent. All right, I'll send you off. Lung Tian Xing walked him out of the camp, watching him disappear into the vast wilderness. Lung Tian Xing squints his eyes, muttering, Strange, the entire allied army is still in the exploration phase of this world. The Saints have already checked this area thoroughly. There aren't any powerful monsters. Where would there be an urgent quest? That brat's in a hurry. I wonder what he's up to now. He shook his head and went back. Being alone has its own benefits. Gu Shan packed lightly, didn't stop, and finally arrived at Ding Yuan General Gongsun Ji's camp at noon the next day. This is a large military camp. You could even say it's a military stronghold. The 10-meter-tall outer wall of the stronghold is protected by various defensive formations. The cultivators in charge of guarding the array formation stood on the high walls of the outer wall. They took every few steps, their expressions solemn and vigilant. Gu Shan asked a few enforcer cultivators and got the same answer. Gongsun Ji was not around. It was said that he had gone out to carry out a mission ordered by the 3 saints and had not returned. Gu Shan couldn't help feeling a little anxious. Previously, when they sent the communication talisman, they had clearly agreed on something, but in the end, Gongsun Ji wasn't around. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary, and the fiendish demons in this area were not that strong. However, the 100 Flowers Fairy would never lie to intimidate her apprentice. There was definitely a great danger that had yet to erupt. He wanted to reach the Golden Core Realm a step earlier, so that he would have more power. Unfortunately, breaking through a great realm was a very dangerous thing. The heavenly demons could attack at any time, and there were many inexplicable existences in the void that wanted to take over a cultivator's body, eat his soul, eat his flesh, and even those with pure evil intentions. All kinds of existences would seize this cultivator's weakest moment. So he needed someone to protect him. Unfortunately, when he was still in the cultivation world, his wounds hadn't healed yet, and he didn't have any soul points. Now that he's in Shunwu world, he has soul points, but Gongsun Ji isn't here. There's also no news of Shifu. I can't contact him. What now? He stood at the entrance of the military camp, letting everyone stare at him with strange gazes. Taking a deep breath, Gu Qingshan forced himself to calm down. I can't panic, otherwise it'll be a bad thing. Gongsun Ji is a man of his word. It must have been one of those last-minute missions that he couldn't avoid that forced Gongsun Ji to leave. Otherwise, he wouldn't have broken his promise like this. While Gu Qingshan was thinking, the sky suddenly darkened. The rain of fire in the sky disappeared. An intense spirit energy fluctuation swept over like a storm, making it hard for anyone to open their eyes. Amipa, a loud Buddhist chant resounded between heaven and earth. This was the great monk of sorrow's voice. Gu Qingshan's heart tightened, hurriedly looked up. A blinding golden light was hovering in the sky, far away. The golden light was continuously striking the sky, but couldn't do anything. Boom, boom, boom. The golden light continued to strike the sky. Suddenly, a mystical rune appeared out of nowhere and struck the golden light. The golden light became dim and quickly fell down. A green figure flew up to receive the golden light, broke through the void of space, and flew into it. Seeing this, Gu Qingshan was stunned. He wasn't the only one. Almost every cultivator was the same. They stood rooted to the ground, not moving an inch. The peaceful spirit energy fluctuation that the golden light gave off just now was very familiar to everyone. It was the great monk of sorrow. As for the green figure, she was even more familiar to everyone. 100 Flowers Fairy. The two saints of humanity, just like that, broke through the void of space and silently left. This has never happened before in history. Even someone as strong as them would end up like this. What exactly is in the sky? Where's Xianyuan Tianzuan? One mystery after another floated in everyone's mind, making it hard for them to calm down. Shifu. Gu Qingshan gritted her teeth. With 100 Flowers Fairy's personality, if the great monk of sorrow's condition wasn't that bad, she would have gone up and fought him, not just turned around and left. What exactly happened? At this time, a tsunami-like roar came from outside the camp. The earth began to tremble. Demons! Demons! A cultivator shouted in a frenzy. Rain of fire! Rain of fire! Even more people shouted, helplessly looking around. Gu Qingshan looked at the horizon. Endless waves of demons were rushing towards them like a tsunami. The rain of fire appeared once again, covering the sky and covering the earth as it chased after the demons. It was a shocking sight. Gu Qingshan squinted her eyes. Looking at the demons, she found a few Rejuvenation Realm or even Ascended Realm great demons. What now? Someone shouted in despair. The Ding Yuan, General Gongsun Ji, isn't here. Without a high-ranking commander's order, the cultivators don't dare to give up on this almost finished stronghold. Deserting is punishable by death according to military law. Two golden-armored great cultivators hurriedly rushed over. One of them was Rejuvenation Realm Peak, the other was Ascended Realm. There were very few Rejuvenation Realm Peak cultivators and even fewer Ascended Realm cultivators, not even 50. One of them looked at Gu Qingshan and said, I'm good at fighting, but not good at planning. What do you think we should do now? Gu Qingshan put her hand on the ground, sensing it. Then her expression changed. I think we need to retreat, she said. The two UG generals heard that, but didn't say anything. The Rejuvenation Realm cultivator looked at the Ascended Realm cultivator. The Ascended Realm cultivator hesitated a bit, then looked at Gu Qingshan and said, You give the order. This means she doesn't want to take responsibility for giving the order to retreat. In truth, any experienced general would know that it's time to retreat in a situation like this. The rain of fire was so powerful that even the ground itself was melted by it, let alone a mere stronghold. Below the rain of fire, there was also a horde of fleeing demons. Even a saint fell from the sky. At a time like this, if they don't run for their lives, what else can they do? Time is of the essence, so Gu Qingshan didn't really want to argue with him. So she leapt onto the stronghold's general stage. He loudly said, "Everyone get on the airship, form a formation and retreat." The cultivators looked at his golden armor, then at his young face, a bit hesitant. They spent so much effort to build this stronghold. They're going to abandon it just like that? This isn't a small matter. If they come looking for trouble in the future, no one will be able to escape. Seeing everyone still hesitating, Gu Qingshan was a bit worried. If they wait any longer, it'll be too late. He tapped his inventory bag, took out his badge, and raised it up. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.